the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. It on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody.
Hiya.
Yeah, welcome to it. Feeling a little warmer today.
It's kind of nice out. There's just a thin layer of frost on the car this morning.
Yeah, 20s, not so bad compared to single digits we were dealing in the last week. And a little into the weekend there.
The worst of it was, like, it didn't hit me until, like, you get to the end of the building because of the way the wind was blowing. Like, right when you walk to that alley as you get to the back, like, to get to the cars, whatever, that wind would just hit, and I literally went, as it hit on Friday. It was just so bitter, biting cold.
It's kind of like when you dive into the cold water and certain parts of the body hit the frigid temps, and it creates a visceral reaction of just, or all the breath comes sucked out of you. Yeah, I
exactly.
I know that
feeling. It's kind of like what happens when you bite into a York peppermint patty. You get the sensation that I'm walking down a windy alleyway.
I don't know. I've never had
8-degree Roswell day.
I've never had cardiac arrest eating a York peppermint patty before.
Well, then you, my friend, have never done it right.
That's right. Well, happy Monday. We're supposed to get in the mid-50s today, so
nice.
That's going to feel
summery,
spring-like at least for some folks, you know.
Shorts weather. Dude, I saw a guy on Friday walking out of the building in shorts. I'm like, what are you doing?
Because that's what they do.
It was insane.
Yeah.
I just it blew my mind. Like,
well, some people are like that. They just wear shorts no matter what.
Yeah.
And God bless them. Go for you. I don't know, does that cool you off enough to the point where you feel like I'm okay? You know, it's like, my knees are getting some breathing room.
My question is,
what's going on there?
What is that person who's comfortable on an 8-degree day walking around in shorts? What's that person going through on a Roswell summer day? Right. When it's like 97 and everything is sticking to everything.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot cooking. Oh, a lot of cooking going on. In the summer months.
I stay in a room full of fans and ACs from May until August.
I just sweat. But, not that problem today.
No.
For our short wearing friends today. How was your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah.
Got a lot done. Got a large portion of the house pretty cleaned. Accidentally cleaned my fridge, which I didn't even think was a thing. But yeah, you start looking for something, and then next thing you know, you're just throwing away stuff with, expiration dates in the 2020s.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
We had our oven go out last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I used it yesterday morning, and it worked fine. And then last night we were gonna throw. So we got for Christmas, you get the Omaha steaks. So someone gave us those, and so one of them was like a chicken fried steaks. You just throw them in the oven for like 25 minutes or something. I was like, yeah, let's do that for dinner. And oven wouldn't preheat. It just kept It just kept getting lukewarm, and I'm like, oh. So we have our
the toaster oven thing,
home warranty thing. So
that
we put a call in. So sometime today, this week, we'll get a call saying we're going to come look at your stove.
So you're the guy with the extended warranty.
Uh-huh.
No, it's just on the home, yeah.
Yeah, on the home. I went and we got it when we bought the house, and then we just kept it going, and it's paid for itself.
Yeah?
I've replaced my air conditioner.
Nice.
I have approximately $8,000 air conditioner. Cost me $75 service call and a $250 crane to put for a crane to put the thing on my roof. So I call that a win.
That's not too shabby. Yeah.
I had what else? Oh, I've had some plumbing work in the bathroom done. Thanks to that, I've had a couple projects throughout the house that have we've used that home warranty for. So we got an appliance going out, and by golly, I'm gonna go. I'm waiting for my dishwasher to die because that thing's pretty old.
Right.
But I don't want to just go out and buy a new one. I'm waiting for it to die. But things like the Timexes, like back in the day, I mean, it's old and beat up, but takes a lick and keeps on ticking, man. That thing just keeps washing dishes.
My dishwasher's working fantastic.
Yeah, one of these days I'm waiting for it to blow up. Your nubbins.
Yeah. Good old lefty and righty.
Yeah. So, needless to say, I'm not going to be baking any pies anytime soon.
Oh.
So, I'm assuming the burners work. I didn't even try it.
So you're telling me this weekend's bake-off is just off?
Yeah, sorry.
Fine.
Sorry, I called Duff and the cake boss and told him I couldn't compete this weekend.
It was actually kind of interesting. I ended up over at T-Birds on Friday, and basically me and this other dude were giving Thomas a cooking class, essentially. It angers me. It angers me that Thomas has a kitchen like he has.
Well, he's been learning to cook.
And
That's
he
like
doesn't
his thing.
use it. Yeah, so we were giving him a bit of a cookery class.
Well, he's a single man. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you need to step your game up, homie. Just saying. You don't own a kitchen like that and not cook. So yeah, he for some reason was in the mood for breakfast. So
Okay.
we were showing him all the different ways to like make, we chopped up, vegetables and stuff, and basically put him through an entire cookery class. Had him like turn on his oven or turn on his stove. And
He's not that basic, right?
He's pretty bad, dude.
Like he can't scramble eggs?
Well, okay, I'll give you an example. I showed him how to make a poached egg.
Okay, well that's a little bit more advanced.
Is it, though?
Well, it's not in terms, but if you never do it because you don't eat poached eggs,
Right.
then that's foreign to you.
Fair
you know?
enough, fair enough.
But scramble an egg or something, that's pretty standard.
It's just and now he's got all this, these new toys, like all this
You bought gadgetry?
well, all this new
Wolfgang Puck,
fancy like pots and pans. They're like ceramic or
Rachel
whatever.
Ray thingies, jobbers, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Does he get like any George Foreman grills or any weird, Chef Gordon Ramsay's pasta maker or some weird
Not that I've seen.
equipment?
Not that I've seen. He's got a good set of pots and pans. They're like this weird like $89 a piece ceramic like non-stick space age whatever that he just got, and then he's got a nice set of knives. So yeah, he's got the tools necessary.
Gotcha.
And all of that counter space. It is infuriating walking into his kitchen and realizing he doesn't use it. It's like, it hurts.
It gets used, just not by him.
I have a relatively small kitchen as far as like counter space goes.
Yeah.
I use every square inch of it for something.
Well, it's maybe that's your move.
Yeah.
Go be his personal chef.
Just start utilizing his kitchen.
Yes. Take your stuff over there.
Just make double portions of it. That's the problem is I make like large portions of everything.
I bet your kids and him both like dino nuggets.
That's true. That's true. Get it done over in your kitchen.
You may like the dino nuggets over there.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like you've got an island in your kitchen and you're making dino nuggets half the time.
And by the way, why did dino nuggets win the chicken nugget wars? Like
why not
we've had
other animals?
chicken nuggets for years. We've had the nuggetry of nuggets going on for a long time, and there's been many different variations of the nugget. But how did dino nuggets rise to the top of that hill?
Kids love dinosaurs, and if you ask a lifelong fan, he'll tell you that the tails are easy for holding when you're dipping in the sauce.
But not all the dinos have the same style tail.
It's true. Some of them have wings.
Like you got your brontosauruses who are a little more short, stubby, round, where your triceratops or some of those or bronchosaurus or whatever they call that thing is a little more lengthy and tail-like.
That's what I think it is, though. Is each of them has some length. So you have the area for holding, and then the area for dipping, hands.
But I'm just saying, we could have had I don't know. Maybe
How come other poultry never made it? Like, how come we don't have bird-shaped nuggets?
Why
or
can't, or
why do we not have chicken-shaped chicken nuggets? That's mind-blowing. I mean,
well, maybe that's a little too on the nose. People are like, I don't want it to, if it looks like,
my
chicken.
My mindset is that the companies that make them, they only paid for the one set of extruder plates. They're like, well, we only have these dino plates. We haven't opted for the monkeys.
No one wanted the
Maybe
stars
that's what it
moons.
is. Nobody wants to eat an animal that exists currently in chicken nugget form.
Okay.
It's like if you had a monkey shaped chicken nugget, wouldn't that bug you a little bit? You're like, are these monkey nuggets or are these chicken nuggets? I mean,
well,
dinosaurs are extinct. At least there's that.
But we know with animal crackers that clearly it looks like a lion, but it doesn't taste like lion.
Right.
I mean, maybe we can. Like, I don't know. I just
to be a
why
fly
did Dino?
To be a fly on the wall at the Tyson Research and Development Office.
Do you think there's like the cavemen are like, no, we should make them look like cavemen, or is there like a group like, no, Botany Club wants to make like flower nuggets, and we're gonna make them shaped like daisies and petunias and whatnot.
My theory is, and even this theory, I can fire a hole in it like automatically because other companies make dino-shaped nuggets. There's like 2 or 3 companies.
Yeah, there's.
My theory was that the proprietary shape of like the McDonald's chicken nugget, the bell, the boot, the bone, and the bow, are owned or copyrighted. Yeah, trademarked. So they have to come up with something else to be like their signature nugget. And yeah, companies generally several different companies will be made, have their products made at the same factory, just under different brand names. So sure, there's that. But there's a marked difference between one brand of Dino Nuggets and the Tyson ones. My kids are very brand specific. They like the ones, I don't even know the brand, but the ones they sell at the Albertsons.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've bought the Tyson Nuggets and my daughter was not on board.
I can understand that though, because they bred them different and they
a little spice blend, I guess.
Yeah, or the meat is a little more authentic meat feel than others. You know what I'm saying?
Meat feel. I like.
Well, some you bite into a nugget, you're like, all right, it tastes like there's actually chicken in here.
Right.
And other times you're like, I've never had chicken melt in my mouth like that before. You know what I mean? Because it's not chicken.
That's an odd consistency. Right.
So, but I don't know. I just was there some meeting and there's like a bunch of people just going like, nuggets should be shaped like cars.
My theory is if they were going to make animal-shaped nuggets, they didn't want it to be an animal that currently exists, and dodo nuggets sounds disgusting. So
I'm just thinking, if it's a tail thing, let's make chicken frying pans or something and make them shaped like little frying pans. Those would be fun to eat.
I'm surprised we haven't had net nuggets, shaped like little computers or little smartphones.
Something, something with a handle.
Mm-hmm. Something with a handle. Little coffee cups.
Yeah.
Why are kids eating coffee cup shaped nuggets? I think that's really the question we need to deal with.
Hey, why not? Let me hear the rundown. We're going to replay an interview this hour. We had County Commissioners Will Cavan and Jeff Bilberry join us Friday on the show, so we're going to play that for you here in just a little bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have the folks from the Roswell Public Library join us, give us an update on what's happening there. Then in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have the folks from Youth Challenge join us, give us an update there, as obviously COVID's really put a damper on what they've been doing over at Youth Challenge, but they're getting back up and fired up again, so they're going to join us and give us an update there. Plus, we'll have all of your other features, include the news of the local, national, variety, town hall, business update, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, let's take a look at that weather, which milder is a better word than certainly last week, and they're even using numbers like 60s this week. Kind of nice. So here you go. Enjoy.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good for much of the upcoming week. We have high pressure in place over the southwestern states and also over the central plains, and our daytime highs will be on a warming trend. A little cool today. We'll be in the low to mid 50s, but lots of sun. Clear tonight and chilly, dropping to a low of about 20. Then we pick up about 10 degrees tomorrow, our high back in the mid 60s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 22 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 71%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny today, mid-50s for a high, 55 officially, with winds out of the southwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Skies will be clear tonight with an overnight low of 22. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Mostly sunny tomorrow. Highs in the mid-60s. 66 for a high tomorrow. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear tomorrow night with an overnight low of 26. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then looking at the rest of the week, sunny, mid-60s, 64 for a high on Wednesday. Sunny, highs near 60, 59 officially on Thursday. Then we're going to be pushing 70 on Friday. Sunny skies, a high of 67. Then back down into the upper 50s Saturday, 57, and then low 60s on Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, that's coming up this weekend as well. So I'm sure a lot of festivities and football plans are being made for the weekend. So it looks like weather will be nice for that. All right, it is 7:20. We're going to take a quick 4-minute break with your, actually, we're going to do your Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten, then a quick commercial break, and then we'll play our interview with Will Cavan and Jeff Bilberry, Chaves County Commissioners on the other side. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A light February run following sub-freezing temperatures in the drawing area, but a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native weaned calves and light yearlings. We expect to sell 400 head, breaking down like this: 25 to 50 weighing cows and bulls, 25 to 50 pairs bred cows, 350 calves and yearlings today's sale. Will include 20 calves from the Flying U Ranch at Portales, New Mexico. X-quality crossbred lightweight calves weaned 30 to 45 days. 2 rounds of shots, 275, 375 pounds. 20 calves, light yearlings, Mr. Ted Gonzalez, Smith Lake, New Mexico. X-quality black white face Angus crosses, cattle weaned 60 days. 400, 600 pounds. 20 calves, Cynthia Claunch, Magdalena, New Mexico. X-quality black white face Angus cross calves, cattle weaned 30 days, 400, 550 pounds. 30 calves, Bersani Ranches, Deming, New Mexico. Good quality crossbred calves, cattle weaned 60 days. Bovashield Gold 8-way, 400, 600 pounds. 16 calves, Mr. Glenn Gilmore, Salt Flat, Texas. X-quality black white face, red white face Angus crossbred calves, cattle weaned 30 days, 375, 475 pounds. The 16 calves, Mr. Patrick Baca over at Albuquerque. X-quality black Angus cross calves, cattle weaned 75 days, 450, 650 pounds. 15 Corrini steers, big feeder types, cattle weighing 600, 700 pounds. Sale time this morning, 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows, 9:15. Be selling calves and yearlings at 9:30. A real light run today, so don't be late. We expect to sell 400 head. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
The Valentine's Day giveaway is on at Roswell Nissan. Roswell Nissan is giving away a 2-night getaway to Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino in Santa Fe, plus a $100 food voucher at the resort and a $400 Visa gift card. 1 entry for stopping by, 3 entries with a test drive or service, and 5 entries with a purchase. Drawing February 12th at 1, must be present to win. Plus, 0 down, no payments for 90 days, and $2,000 guaranteed on your trade. There's a lot to love at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical. To remember.
Roswell is our home. That's why we've all got to do our part to stop illegal dumping. Throwing your trash, clutter, or yard debris in the alleys, sidewalks, or streets is a crime, and it takes time and money to clean it up. Those caught dumping illegally can face fines of up to $500. You can help by taking your waste to the landfill once a month for free with a paid water bill. Call the City of Roswell Solid Waste Department for more information at 575-624-6746. Help keep Roswell clean. After all, do you want your kids to grow up in a dump?
For over 40 years, Sierra Blanca Motors here in Roswell have been providing locals with quality vehicles and are committed to providing you quality vehicles and service for many years to come. No sales gimmicks, no inflated pricing, just a quality pre-owned vehicle listed at retail pricing or less. Have a used vehicle to sell? Get top trade-in value or an amazing cash offer today. Let Danny or Jose provide you a great car buying experience. Call 575-622-7907 it or stop by Sierra Blanca Motors at 720 South Main Street in Roswell. Se habla español.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A U.S. quarter has 119 grooves on its edge. A dime has one less groove. So by definition, that makes a dime less groovy. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, is this the limit? 2 together at one time that we're allowed to have as far as county commissioners in a room? Is that, I know like you guys aren't supposed to hang out outside the chambers a lot together, but like you can come in 2s, right?
Well, we can, yeah, as long as we don't have a quorum, that's works,
the only rule here.
Yeah,
but there you go. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But we have, of course, County Commissioners Will Cavan and Jeff Bilberry join us this morning. Morning, gentlemen.
Well, good morning, Mike. Well.
I knew there was a rule because we actually talked about it one time when I was like, yeah, bring the whole commission. I was like, well, we can't do that.
Yeah. Well, if we're in public and we're on the radio and stuff like that, and as long as we're not making any decisions.
As long as we can keep an eye on you guys, we're good to go.
So you got us on video. I think
everything's above board there.
Yeah,
so
that's
good
exactly
deal.
right.
Well, how you guys doing this morning? How's life treating? How's the county faring? I know with the weather and everything, what's the reports and stuff? Do you guys, everybody make it okay from the reports and stuff you heard?
I think everything's good. I know Commissioner Bilberry, he's out. He lives actually down in the Elida area of Chaves County, and I know with this cold weather, freezing pipes and all that stuff that you're having to deal with. But
of course, farm and ranchers, they're usually pretty handy when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's us dumb city folk that don't know no better.
There's a few guys breaking ice this morning. I hope.
they better be, right? So no, everything's gone really pretty good, and it's nice to get the moisture we got. At least
wish you got a little more, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, there's that fine. It's kind of the Goldilocks still. At least we didn't have Goliath. But we did get some moisture.
Be careful what you wish for. Yeah.
No, that's exactly right.
Absolutely.
So everything's good, and I think the schools took the day off yesterday, and of course they have an in-service going on today.
Yeah,
so
kids enjoying another sort of snow day with the patches that are still out there.
Yeah, you go out there, maybe slide around on some of the ice.
That's right.
In the shadowed areas. So. But anyway, we just got through having breakfast with Jim Stovall and some of the guys from the BLM, and working on some things that we're always having to stay on top of some of this stuff with our lands. I don't know how many people know that Chaves County is a little over 6,000 square miles. Mm-hmm. We're a large county.
Absolutely. In land, we definitely are. We got a lot of acreage to cover. And any other time, you really, and it's because of the people. It's all about, I imagine some of these city counties that have their whole population in, a couple hundred square miles there. It's a little easier logistically than having 1/10 of that spread over a couple thousand square miles of space here.
Well, you just have agriculture and oil and dairy and farming and ranching, all of it together. Plus Roswell being right in the middle of in the county. You have city dwellers and country dwellers. You have it all. There's a lot to deal with.
Sure, and we have a unique scenario. Just we as a city and a county here because we're a mecca for southeast New Mexico.
Exactly.
People from farther south, Hobbs, Lee, Eddy counties and things, they're coming here for their big city time and things like that. And needs like that. So we are a small community, but we're big enough where we serve other smaller communities in Southeast. So we're the mecca just by default,
Right. We're the closest thing, but you take off, go over to Lubbock or Midland or some of these other places.
Yeah, that's our mecca.
That's ours.
We go. So, we all come here and then we go there.
Yeah. Well, and so we had breakfast with those guys. We've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
I'm headed up to Santa Fe this afternoon. We've got a New Mexico County's Board of Directors meeting, kind of talking about legislative stuff. And I know last time I was in with you with
we talked a lot about airport and stuff then, yeah.
Former Senator Jennings, and I tell you what, Mike, one of the big things that we talked about then that I really think is going to come to fruition is the 4 lanes to the Texas state line on 380.
Oh wow!
I mean,
I'm not going to lie. That's been a long time coming.
Long time.
I'm sure every single person, and that's all of us, at some point or another, have driven that way. And every single one of us, to a person, said, "Why isn't this 4 lanes?" And now somebody's listening to us.
Well, our legislators, Candy and Greg and Phelps and Stu Engel and Cliff Pirtle. I mean, they're all working in unison with.
And they've been fighting for years for that. In all fairness, we got to give them credit. This isn't new to them either. They've been fighting that fight for a long time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So this deal, that highway 4 lanes there is a bipartisan deal. This is a Republican and Democrat thing, and that's what makes it a good deal.
That's how it's getting on the radar.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, you got on some of these things you got to work together. I mean, there's some things that we don't agree with some of our leaders in local and state, but we need to get to the table and work together.
Can I since we're talking, as roads and I just want to ask a philosophical question a little bit and. Now obviously with this legislative session and the state's been saying we got a little money to spend this time and that can be a very dangerous thing when they turn them loose with that. But is it really the mindset? Because obviously when we think Republicans, conservatives, things like that, they tend to lean towards let's put some money away for the rainy day special with oil and gas money. That's a volatile thing that's never consistent. And so there you have that side that's always been more conservative, but we know New Mexico, it's a liberal state. Anytime they get money, it turns into a gimme, gimme, gimme moment. Obviously, you guys don't like playing that game, but do you have to play it by default sometimes? Just because, as a county commission, you're looking out for Chavez County, and if the way of the world is gimme, 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 then guess what? You guys got to play that too. I mean, is that a lot of that going on sometimes?
Well, I would say that does happen on a normal basis.
Yeah.
But we're not in normal times right now.
That's true.
Right. And when the federal government is sending money out into our state, into our counties and municipalities to spend, you don't get to tuck that stuff away. You have to spend it, and so the infrastructure deal that they passed out in Washington D.C.
Sure.
Well, there's a reason for that. So your roads, your airports, I mean,
and that's where this money for 380 is going to be coming out of.
Right.
Yes,
right.
okay.
The good thing about it is that before all that happened, the governor had already appropriated funds for us to do passing lanes on 380, which is great. But since we have this kind of money now, let's get it done and do 4 lanes and do it right.
Good.
Passing lanes are great, but 4 lanes are a heck of a lot safer and a better scenario for that road.
The tea leaves that you guys are reading right now, does it look like it's going to get some momentum and we might get through with this session?
Well, I'm thinking so because I'm watching because Candy and Greg and them they've got bills that are moving forward out of their committees and like I said, it's a bipartisan deal. I mean, you don't have anybody sitting on the edge going, I don't know about that or anything. I think it's a.
And in this day and age, a bipartisan thing's kind of like a unicorn nowadays. So, so that does bode very well. That like saying, okay, both sides can see the need. That bodes well for saying, you know what, that they're gonna work together to get this one knocked out.
Right, and that's exactly it right there.
Good.
It's nice to see that can still happen.
It is. And after where we've been so diversive and combative, out of necessity, it seems like over this last 3 years, the fact that we're like, oh yeah, we're all on the same team at the end of the day here. We forgot that sometimes, and so maybe just maybe this is the floodgates to maybe a crack in the armor to see if they can get them to talk on some other issues too.
Yeah, you would hope that would be the case, and so right now some of the things that we're working on that gives us some real concern. I mean, there's a House bill that in conversations over the last couple of days doesn't sound like it's going to go anywhere, but we were really concerned about House Bill 36, which was going to be a deal that was going to give kind of change the wording for the Resource and Mineral Secretary and a couple of these other entities to be able to go out and acquire land and minerals and water rights and things like that. And I mean that's a definite concern for us. I mean, because if you look at the state of New Mexico, and when you start talking about water, water is for our ranchers and farmers.
And you're just taking out the private sector when you go to put that kind of effort to put the government in direct competition with private.
Yeah, and that's a problem, and that's a problem that and that's if you compile that with just the other practices of the state, and what I mean by that is we are so, I mean, they talk we're pro-business, but the actions that happen don't reflect that, and this can be more of that is what it potentially sounds like.
Well, and that's part of our concern, and I know Jeff and I were with you about a year ago, talking about the 30 by 30 plan that has come out of Washington, which they've rebranded as the America the Beautiful, which they're wanting to take up 30% of the land and 30% of the water to conserve for the future on climate change stuff and everything. And really and truly, 30 by 30 is what they're telling you right now, but what their real goal is 50 by 50, and that's land and water stuff. And so Bill Williams and I are fixing to head out to Washington, D.C. Next week for our NACO legislative conference, and we've got a couple of resolutions to push through our national organization to kind of, so Waters of the U.S., WOTUS, I don't know how often you've heard that, but, the federal government wants to take control of and create these it's all about control, Mike, is what it is. And so instead of having your state and local control over things like this, the federal government wants to come in and kind of make these rules up. And, during the 4 years of the Trump administration, they pulled some of that back and put that back to local control. But now you have a new administration where
it's getting ripped up again.
They're going back to where they were.
And this is the part where American public gets, because we get juggled around back and forth with this every time there's an administration change here.
Right.
And but you're right, because this is the argument we had, back during the Obama administration when they're coming in and endanger listing everything with a heartbeat out here. We had to fight the fight. It's like people in Washington, D.C. that have never seen this land, don't know anything about this land, don't know how it works or operates, are calling the shots, rather than the people that chew the dirt, that live here, that work in this dirt, that live in it, that play in this dirt, that do everything in this dirt. Those are the people that are probably better stewards of the dirt. Why are we telling those people that don't know anything other than what they read on a computer screen how to? And that's the problem here. They just read something and then think, oh, it must be like this, and then you get here and it's like, no, that's none of that stuff. And they're making decisions on assumptions and opinions that they have no real knowledge of what's going on here, and that's the kind of the scary part too. Not the fact that it's just government control, but government control that's uneducated on making good decisions for this area.
Well, one of the deals that's come out is they make all of us who are, just as you said, live in the dirt and work in the dirt, playing the dirt here.
Yeah.
They make us out that we're not good stewards of the land.
Yeah.
That we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah.
But that's the intent.
And that's where it's dangerous and
tell
scary.
the world that we're not good stewards of the land.
Yeah. And that's what's dangerous and scary. And that's the debate you're hearing right now. And so that's when you see those political ads on tell your senators to stop this and that. And all that is they're trying to sway you. But at the end of the day, the people that do this for a living every single day are better stewards of everything. And I tell you, even like back with the prairie chickens and the sand dune lizards, our oil and gas companies, their people live here too. They don't want to destroy and all the things that they accuse oil industry of doing to the land. Have those things happened in the past? I'm sure they have. It's humanity, but they work hand in hand with the private sector, with the government, with the EPA and all the various agencies that are out there to not only comply but generally go above and beyond some of the minimal standards that the government puts on them as far as
if you went
that
back
kind of
50
stuff.
years, I mean, from 50 years ago to today, we've done a lot better job.
Yeah.
And we always need to do a better job, but you're correct. I mean, the people that are here need to be the ones that are making those decisions.
Absolutely, and that's the point. And that's the point we've been making. And now we've got administration again that doesn't see eye to eye on that. So here we go again with the fights in the round.
You get special interest groups that have more voice than we do.
Sure, and they don't. And the people that are running that again have never probably set foot in Southeast New Mexico. They read an internet story about one thing that happened one place, and they just assume that's everything. And now they're going scorched earth on us. Yeah.
Well, and Mike, that word control is the key word to use here, and you got to have more government control because us folks out here don't know what we're doing, and they're
Are we just dumb hicks? Is that kind of the mindset?
But that's not the way our forefathers set it up.
Right.
Exactly.
They set it up for us on the ground to do our business.
I hear a lot of the people by the people in many of the things that the literature they wrote and the documentation that we use to guide our nation today. That those words and things are in there quite a bit, and there's a reason for that. And,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and part of the one of the tools coming out of that toolbox, and you talked about it a little bit. We had the battle over the lesser prairie chicken and the sand dune lizard and stuff, and I mean now you've got a butterfly out there and a jumping mouse and the chipmunk and some of these other things, and so those are all things that are being used to take control.
It's a playbook. It's literally a playbook, and they're taking it from the play. It's the same one they used 10 years ago, whenever and all this was going around the first time. And they heard the same. Okay, you defeat the sand dune lizard. What's next on the list?
Right.
And that's what they're doing, and that's what you're talking about. The butterfly, whatever these animals are, the something minnow or whatever.
Silver minnow, the spotted owl.
This is the playbook. This is what. And so you defeat one of these. And they're just going to go to the next one, because and they got nothing but time and money and resources, so they're not going away with this.
They got a heck of a printing press out there, all I can tell you.
But once you talk about defeated, really, they nothing was defeated. A lot of people had to coordinate or collaborate to get past this and give up something to get what both sides
resolved is or whatever.
But that's the plan. If you can. What is the death of 1,000 cuts?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's how, and this is where people have been screaming from the rooftops. You're not going to lose your freedom in one big foul swoop. It's just not. They're not going to be some army that comes through and says you're oppressed. That's not how it's going to happen. It's going to be nickel and diming you. It's stuff like making you wear a mask in places that have no business really need to wear a mask. It's doing stuff like this, But what it impacts. But the thing you're doing is going to impact 1/10 of 1% of population. That we've got to blow up scorched earth because of that 1/10 of a 1%. Now, let's be a little commonsensical here and say let's appease the 1/10, but not throw the baby out with the bathwater on the rest of it here. But that's not how they want us to think and deal, and that's how they take away the freedoms.
Well, and there are thousands. There's your playbook you're talking about. Mm-hmm. There's thousands of species out there that they're just waiting to kind of pick the next one out.
Absolutely.
And that's the playbook right there.
And that's where we as a public, we got to not be naive about this stuff. You got to be aware of it. You got to and I'll say this, it's elections coming up. This is why you got to be informed and things, because if you just kind of don't pay attention to this stuff, you unintentionally could be, helping to keep this kind of activity going. So
if I had one message for everybody's listening today, 2022 is probably the most pivotal election that this country's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Our state. Educate yourself on the people that are running. Educate yourself on what's going on. Don't step back and say your vote doesn't count, because it is exactly what counts. And if you talk about voter fraud, which may open a whole if everyone will get out and vote, there will be no voter fraud.
Sure, you're right. You're absolutely
well,
right.
Jeff used the key word there also is get educated. Don't you stick your head in the sand and say, "Oh, nothing I can do about it." Get out there and get yourself educated.
And get real educated.
Yeah,
Don't go on
find
Facebook.
someone to support.
Yeah, don't go on Facebook, find 12 means that agree with you and say, that's what I thought, and then move on with your day. No. Challenge some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Go to somewhere other than social media to learn news and learn information. Do your, when people share links and articles, do your digging. Read those articles and then read where they came from. Is it something legitimate or is it from some other clown in another basement somewhere who looks legitimate? It's really easy to make a website look pretty sharp nowadays.
Yeah.
Odds are, though, that there's a guy wearing plastic pants in a basement that's got nothing better to do all day doing that kind of stuff. And he has no clue on what he's actually talking about.
Right. Well, and so we've really got to a point where we've gotten and created a really good relationship with the BLM. So we have good dialogue and conversation there, and we're in a good place with them. But then all of a sudden we show up with the Forest Service, and a lot of people don't realize that we have forest in Chavez County. But once again, we're
a diverse county.
We're a pretty diverse
We got a lot of
county.
acreage and it's a little bit. Hence the reason after, again, another political fiasco, we're going to have pretty much all 3 congressional districts in our county.
We're not going to get started.
We're going to have a seat at the
table. But so right now we've got the Forest Service has come out with this new plan that they've supposedly been working on since 2015. But now all of a sudden, new administration, they're going to lay this deal out on the table that's going to affect Lincoln, Otero, Eddy County, and Chavez County.
Mm-hmm.
And one of their big deals that they want to do, these entities, are create these like wilderness areas. Okay, and so when you get those like wilderness areas created, well, that's an act of Congress, and so getting it off the books is not happening anytime soon. But they're wanting to take areas that you're like going, are you kidding me?
Sure.
That you're wanting to make this a like wilderness area? You've got tanks and power lines and everything else that are there. It ain't like wilderness. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Okay, well then let's go to D.C. and we'll make the mall like wilderness.
And you have a lot of private land. You got people that other industries in there too, and there's it's like there's just a blank sheet of paper. We're just going to take it all.
Sure. Well, and again, that's the cookie cutter mindset, and it's checking boxes and making numbers on their end, but they don't realize the real impact of what those box checking's doing and the balance that, and that's just it. And people that live out here know it's all the balance, man. You got to have a little of this and a little of that, and it all works. If you start going in there meddling with this stuff and start playing God, in essence, then you're throwing the balance in works here. The government does not know what's best from you all the time.
Right.
And generally, in factors of this area, you know a heck of a lot more than they do about this stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is that you create those like wilderness areas and you do stuff like that. People have water rights and things that are out in that. And now all of a sudden you've put them in a situation where they don't have those water rights anymore, or they can't access them like they should be able to. And wording. Okay, they want us just to cooperate with them.
Okay.
Instead of coordinate. And you look at the NEPA, the laws that local government is supposed to be coordinated with.
Okay.
Put us at the table and let's have that conversation. Don't just show up with a plan and expect us to cooperate with
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Because it affects our tax base. It affects everything that we do.
Well, that's the problem here. But it's that mindset of we know what's best, and that's what we're fighting here on this.
It's not that we have forced and BLM in our county. It's they have forced and BLM in our county.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that's really important that a lot of our counties don't have here in the state of New Mexico and around the West.
Yeah.
They don't have their plans in place. And so the government ends up taking advantage of that because you don't have those plans in place. And so that's one of the things of being educated, and the message that we try to get out to everybody is get that stuff on the books so that when they do come in, you can say, "Oh, wait a second, that's not falling within our county."
It is
plans.
in our comprehensive plan that they have to coordinate with us, and it is actually part of the statute among how they operate that they're supposed to.
Sure. I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Where's the state at here? I mean, is there any state level aid coming to our defense on this, or are they just lockstep with the federal government right now?
Well, I would tell you, Mike, that here in the state of New Mexico, the government put out their 30-30 plan, and then the governor came out with her executive order in lockstep with the 30-30 plan.
Gotcha.
And so, talking about House Bill 36, but the other thing that and I don't think it's getting out of the House, but the other thing that they were planning on doing was putting on the ballot a $50 million bond that they were going to call the Land of Enchantment bond, which takes you back to that bill that $50 million was going to be broken up into 6 entities. The Game and Fish was going to get like $2.5 million. The resource and energy minerals, they were going to get $12.5 million of that.
Okay.
And so into the conversations with some of the heads of these secretaries, it's like, well, what are you going to do with that money if this bond passes and you have access to that? And now you've been given the ability, because this House bill has passed, to go out and acquire. I mean, that's what it all comes down to is acquisitions. And we just had a Game and Fish department that just bought a fairly good sized ranch, the Pimpkin Ranch, and they worked through an NGO, bought the land, and so they've created more habitat. Their deal is they created more habitat for the lesser prairie chicken and just that conservation.
Like these lands they're buying up is it the state selling it to them? Is it private?
Well, that was a private entity that owned it, but they sold it to the New Mexico Game and Fish Department.
Yeah. So and I get it, money talks.
Exactly. But what are we selling or sold for?
Yeah, right. But if we're outbidding our own,
but they come in direct competition with private. That's what I was talking about a while ago. Yeah. That was a piece of property I was talking about.
I mean, and it's really hard to ask someone to say, hey, take a price cut to sell to the other guy versus the federal government when it's, and I'm guessing probably a major significant difference in what the private is going to willing to buy that land for, which is versus what the government's going to give you.
But this bond that Will's talking about, what you're basically doing, if it passes, the citizens of the state of New Mexico are paying to have the state come in and buy away land. And the folks that own the land, they're going to be taxed for someone to come buy their land.
Right.
So I mean, as far as is it resistance, or is this bill getting a lot of good traction, or for their end?
I don't know what anybody really knows.
I mean, is there any kind of resistance?
I mean, when you look at the ballot and you go to reading those bonds and you read through all of it.
The lawyers did a good job with muddying up to make it confusing, kind of thing.
Well, so the good thing about it, Mike, is that this is a 30-day session, and so I don't think this House Bill 36 is gonna get out of committees to get to the floor to vote on.
But you think it'll come back next year?
Yeah. Well, these deals don't ever go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be back next year, and that's so back to $12.5 million to the Department of Resources, Minerals, and everything. I mean, so that's where you start talking about buying up water rights and things like that, and those are precious resources that we have.
And let's face it, all the things we're talking about here, they're muddy enough to where most people get glassy-eyed when you talk about it. Water rights, any kind of rights, grazing rights, but just land. And the public is like, whatever, with land and stuff. But this is where. Okay, I get it. You don't understand the ins and outs of water rights and land rights and what you can do on the property and what you can't do on the property. I get that. But at the same time, let me ask you this. Do you want the government telling you what to do with all that? Or do you want the people that live here, serve here, work here, play here, that appreciate the land in which they live their lives on, understand what's better? And that's, okay, maybe you don't have to know the X's and outs and ins and O's. But who do you trust making those kinds of decisions? The people that do it or the federal government? And that's the big question.
Well, and so right now, I mean, if you look at the stuff that's going on in Canada with the truck drivers, and you're going to see a lot of that here, But, unfortunately, people that are in these metropolitan areas, these big cities, they just go to the grocery store and get their stuff. Okay, they just think that stuff just magically shows up.
Sure.
And the elves come out and restock everything, and it just shows up at the back door.
They live in
and
a
all that
shoe or
stuff.
something. Yeah, I've
Right,
seen those elves.
right. And so there's not that in your face type deal that says, you show up and those shelves aren't stocked and you don't have your necessities. And all of a sudden you go, well, where did it all go? Well, the truck drivers got a little angry.
Yeah.
And so they're not delivering the stuff. And so now you have more of an appreciation for those truck drivers.
Sure.
And those truck drivers aren't going to be driving around in electric in big electric semi trucks.
Sure.
I mean,
they got the tools that they like to do the job and can do the job. Stop changing their tools out.
right.
Let them do the job.
And California is really, really bad. And I know Jeff.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, to take that back about 2 steps. I mean, for something for the truck drivers to haul, when you've got guys growing the beef and growing the corn and pumping the oil and digging the holes in the ground, giving them something to haul.
Absolutely.
Right.
And when you can set in these city dwellings or whatever and think, well, that's an agriculture issue or that's an oil and gas issue. That's not going to affect me.
Yeah.
Well, when you went down to get your groceries, yes,
You consume said products? Yes.
It does affect you.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, I don't drive a car. I don't use do you use a pocket comb? Do you got what's that
Exactly.
plastic on your microwave there?
Well,
What's
you
that?
might take a bus.
Your
Your bus
me,
ticket
if
just
you,
went up.
If you own anything plastic,
Right.
you guess what? Oil and gas is contributing to your life right now.
It is.
That's exactly right. So, anyway, so those are a bunch of the big things that we have going on. We're going to have a big summit in Nebraska on this. I mean, once again, it's all about educating people and making sure people really understand what's going on. I mean, it's really a beautiful thing to sell the America the Beautiful and Land of Enchantment stuff and put these brands on there, but people really need to understand what the end game is here.
Sure.
And so our hunters, fishermen, all these guys, they're all thinking that this is really great, but when they're not able to go out to their unit to hunt on because it's considered like wilderness.
Protected land,
right.
Protected.
And
protected creatures, yeah.
And then your WOTA stuff, your favorite fishing hole, all of a sudden is you don't have access to that fishing hole.
Yeah.
People need to make sure that they're aware of and not just listening to what they're being told.
And people don't have to go very far to realize that impact. They can go just right out here, right outside of town to this wilderness area out here, and they're limited on what they can do there.
Well, and I would even offer this too. And we've seen this in past history in our area, where they've had the control, and you saw what they did with it. I'll point to the owls and they're talking about and then all of a sudden we got bad fires and populations of owls because guess what? They protected an area, did nothing to it, and now the area which they speak of is not good for the owls and things because it's too much overgrowth. Now there's fires, and we need us to go and maintain the yard, so to speak, to get that done. But the federal government doesn't realize or care that kind of stuff. They're like, oh, protect it and let it. And I don't know if they've been watching Discovery TV and watching those after people leave kind of thing, and they want to make it do that. But we can't be here and have that happen at the same time. So, I get protecting Earth, but I want to be on it. So, so leaving their control of that things are the kind of things you're going to see. Do you want that happening in your backyard? And that's what we're talking about here.
Right.
Let the people that live here do what they do to take care of it because they know better than the people that don't live here.
Yeah, if you're not doing some harvesting and not cleaning up the fuel that gives those fires the opportunity to run.
And they're like, well, why are the owls hanging at Walmart? Because they can't hang out in the forest because you just muddied up their hunting ground so they can't see or hunt. So now they're hanging at Walmart waiting for you to drop popcorn on the ground.
No, you're right about that. So
we're out of time here, but I want to give you guys last word or anything we want to make sure we talk about here.
Everybody get out and vote. Educate yourself. Do your due diligence. I can't stress that enough.
Well, let me just say, and unfortunately, Bill and I are going to be in Washington, D.C., but come Saturday the 12th, a week from this Saturday, they're going to have groundbreaking for the Ascent project out there at the Air Center. And I mean, that deal is going to be huge for the city of Roswell, Chaves County, and southeastern New Mexico, and the state of New Mexico.
Yep.
And it's a really big deal. And I mean, that deal is happening because of the work that has been done in a bipartisan fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans and Democrats seeing the opportunity out there. I mean, Candy Azell, Greg Nybert, Senator Jennings. I mean, everybody has got a piece of the pie in getting that deal done, and that's going to be a really big deal.
And it's going to benefit all of us.
It's going to benefit all of us, and so I'm just I'm glad we finally got to this point, and
I think, and that's proof. If we all sit down and talk and talk about our issues and try to meet the needs of all that.
White House, while in Moscow, Vladimir Putin will meet with the French leader.
Mr. Macron will be the first of several politicians in Moscow this week. The French president sounded optimistic before he set off, saying that he hoped to find historic solutions when he met President Putin. Mr. Macron said he thought a deal would be possible and that it was legitimate for Russia to pose questions about its own security. However, he also emphasized that Ukraine's security and sovereignty couldn't be compromised. Kremlin officials have said the visit is very important. However, they also played down hopes of a resolution, saying that the situation was too difficult to expect decisive breakthroughs in the course of one meeting.
That's BBC's Caroline Davis in Moscow. Russia denies any plan to invade its neighbor, but urges the U.S. and its allies not to accept Ukraine and other ex-Soviet nations into NATO. Washington and NATO have rejected that demand. Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai now says she was not sexually assaulted by her country's ex-vice premier, calling the whole thing an enormous misunderstanding. In an interview with a French newspaper, the interview attended by Chinese government Olympic officials, she denied that her original social media post in November alleged such abuse. Republican Senator Ted Cruz calling on the Federal Trade Commission to investigate GoFundMe after it ended a fundraiser for protesting Canadian truckers that ultimately collected $10 million. The truckers have been protesting Canadian government coronavirus restrictions, including mask mandates. Watching Wall Street, the Dow down 4 points, the NASDAQ 113 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So I invested in one of those fancy new exercise bikes. Without a doubt, a very special tool to help me get healthier. The problem is 3 days go by, then 4, and I've done nothing. And then it's night 5, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I look down at myself, and I can't help but just laugh. Because there I am, wearing the exercise t-shirt that came with the bike, and I'm eating 2 corn dogs. And I think we'd all agree, the special tool only matters if we use it to our benefit. At United Faith Mortgage, we believe we have an advantageous tool for you. Our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions. There's no middleman, and often this allows us to get you a better rate on your refinance or new home purchase, which can save you monthly and lifelong money. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Middle Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Spotify insists it stands behind a controversial, albeit highly successful, podcast host.
Spotify will keep putting its money where Joe Rogan's mouth is. For the second weekend in a row, the streaming service's CEO has said he has Rogan's back despite increasing calls for him to be shut down. First, musician Neil Young asked Spotify to drop his music because of Rogan's COVID misinformation. Now musician India Ari is on his case over Rogan's repeated use of a racial slur on his show. That has intensified calls for Rogan's ouster, but yesterday Spotify CEO Daniel Ek told employees while he condemns Rogan's words, he doesn't believe that silencing him is the answer. I'm Oscar Wells Gabriel.
An Israeli newspaper reports allegations that police tapped the phones of former Prime Minister Netanyahu's son and members of his inner circle. Newspaper reports sophisticated spyware was used. Townhall.com. A proposed two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is still being discussed, and now there is a new version of the blueprint. It's being advanced by some Israeli and Palestinian officials.
It's unclear if the plan has any support among leaders, but it could help shape the debate over the conflict and will be presented to senior U.S. and UN officials this week. The plan calls for a state of Palestine in most of the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem, territories Israel seized in the 1967 Mideast War. Israel and Palestine would have separate governments, but coordinate at a very high level on security and other issues. Rhonda Rockster reporting.
Israel's prime minister applauding last week's deadly U.S. raid in Syria that killed the leader of ISIS. Naftali Bennett's office says the Israeli premier told President Biden in a phone call that the world is now a safer place thanks to the courageous operation of the U.S. forces. Again on Wall Street, the Dow down 10 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to it. Hope you're having a delightful day so far.
Yeah, buddy.
Hope it's all going swell for you.
Going swimmingly.
Yeah. Copacetic. At least copacetic. Man. So, it's Super Bowl week.
Yep.
Olympics are on.
Yep.
Which I know everyone's talking about the ratings are down because have you watched any Olympics?
Not a second. I didn't watch the opening ceremonies. I haven't watched. What I'm holding out for is the event that's actually on tonight.
What's on
curling?
Ah, that's right. I know you're a big curling fan.
Love me some curling. That's really the only event, honestly, I could give a darn about in this whole Olympic Games.
I haven't watched any Olympics with the exception of what morning was it? Was it Saturday morning or Friday night or one of these? No, I think it was Saturday morning. It was Kim and I think Kim was getting ready or something, and I just kind of went in and turned on the TV, and it was on NBC, and they were showing women's USA hockey against like Sweden or somebody. I can't remember who it was, and so I watched about 10 minutes of that. And then the game ended, and they went to something else, and then I moved about my day. So they got me with 10 minutes of hockey for a few minutes. And
I know it's on network, like it's always on NBC, but the consumption has just, I mean, it's so, I know I'm making a silly statement, but the consumption has just changed completely and so vastly over the last generation. Like I distinctly remember when the Olympics were happening, like when I was a kid, they were always on.
Yeah,
like
they kind of
always.
They kind of are like that now.
Not really. I mean,
yes, but they spread it over 15 channels.
Yeah, on their networks and stuff. But but what I mean by that is people were just more interested. It seemed like people were more interested in them. Like every TV I would go to, like at a friend's house, whatever, they would have the Olympics on.
It was a bigger deal then, but you would also argue there was less forms of entertainment available.
That's true.
The internet, isn't a thing as big deal back then. It was, so a lot of people weren't necessarily having 500 channels to watch either. So.
Yeah, we only had like 4, and one of them was, broadcasting nonstop Olympics coverage. So that makes sense. But the place where I actually thought about this recently was last year. right around telethon time. Because do you remember that the Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon?
Oh yeah, that was suck
such
up one of
a
your channels.
big deal back in the day. At least when I was a kid. Like, I remember...
It was a big deal like it was on. I was mad because it just killed one of your channels, and I'm sorry. I'm no child sitting down and watching the Jerry Lewis telethon.
I argue with you right there. I loved the telethon. As, like, a little boy, I loved the telethon.
See, you're weird. You're the exception. You're the exception, not the rule.
To this day, I'm still weird. But I loved the telethon, dude. I don't know what it was. It was like the whole, like, the thing with Ed McMahon where he'd introduce the CEO of Sidco.
Oh, yeah. It's as an adult, I've watched some of it. Like, yeah, but... As a child, I wanted nothing to do with it.
I loved it. Like, it was so... I mean, I don't even know what it was about it. It was just that it was like a special thing on TV. I loved the telethon.
And I'm not going to lie. Part of me was, especially in the later years, Jerry Lewis was getting long in the tooth there. And get a little... He was more and more...
That was almost the thing that...
crotchety out there.
That made it more fun in the later years.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he was just so over it.
Yeah, it was almost like tuning into a train wreck. You're like, all right, what inappropriate thing is Jerry Lewis going to do this year? It was that point. And so, yeah, then you had that factor. But, yeah, back in his heyday when the telethon was... like relevant and all that. Yeah, I just never got into all that.
And I remember he would come out at the end and sing like to one of Jerry's kids or something like that.
Oh yeah, he would do his little entertainment.
Like Love Lifted Me or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. Something about, maybe it's just the nostalgia factor of it. I just miss those. I miss the telethon days.
Well, it's just we're in a bigger world and a little bit smaller, but bigger.
I'm just surprised that nobody carried on that torch or tradition.
Well, I think it does happen. It's just not in that
form
anymore.
Like, one would think like Seacrest would have taken over, or whoever, Carson Kressley, somebody would have taken that mantle on and become like the new face of the MDA.
Yeah, maybe it's financially not. I mean, I don't know. They probably can't afford Seacrest.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is a fun, it's a nonprofit organization.
Well, were they paying Jerry?
Well, I think Jerry
probably,
it was
like the philanthropy was all part of his thing.
But I think it was more his organization. Like he, if he didn't create it, he certainly did a lot to make it at the level where it is. So he had a passion for being involved with it, where someone like Seacrest is, he's the hired gun that comes in and makes it relevant.
If I had muscular dystrophy, I would be very upset that there's not as much of a spotlight being put on it.
I would think as the amount of money that's been raised for that over the years, like they would have a cure, or at least some major. Maybe they do. And
maybe that's why the telethon went away. I don't know.
Maybe it is. Maybe they made so much money that they made great strides.
Then why are we still filling boots?
Well, maybe it's for different things. I have no idea. I mean, people still get it. I don't know idea. It's not my area of
expertise. At this point, they've moved on. It's now the Mad Dog Association. They just use that money to buy 40s.
Don't forget the 2020. It's very important. But anyway, I have not watched much Olympics. That was the whole point of that. It probably won't. But you're right. I used to always, like, in the evenings, be like, oh, what's on tonight? Oh, figure skating. Never mind. Let's watch something else. But yeah, I used to try to check it out. Now I could care less. It is 12 minutes after 8 o'clock. Like I said earlier, Tracy Fry, I believe, is joining us here from the Roswell Public Library. And we'll get, maybe it's Peggy. Maybe it's both. I'm not sure. But they're going to join us here from the Roswell Public Library and give us an update on what's happening over at the library in just a few minutes. Later on this hour, we'll get you up to date with local news, along with your town hall business update and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. If you missed it, we kind of ran out of time to play last few seconds of that interview. Poor timing on my part, but it was pretty much wrapped up. But if you missed any part of the interview with Commissioners Will Cav and Jeff Bilberry, you can go back ksvptv.com and check it out. It's right there, right now. You can go and see it at your leisure. All right, it is 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's take a look at that weather. Good news is much more milder week this week than last, and even numbers like 60s being talked this week. So here's your weather. Enjoy.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good for much of the upcoming week. We have high pressure in place over the southwestern states and also over the central plains, and our daytime highs will be on a warming trend. A little cool today. We'll be in the low to mid 50s, but lots of sun. Clear tonight and chilly, dropping to a low of about 20. Then we pick up about 10 degrees tomorrow, our high back in the mid 60s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 26 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 63%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny today. Expect highs in the mid-50s, 55 officially. Winds will be out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 22 degrees. Winds out of the southwest at around 5 miles per hour. Tuesday, warmer, sunny, mid-60s for a high, 66 officially tomorrow. Winds out of the west, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear skies with an overnight low of 26 degrees and north winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, still floating in the mid-60s, 64 officially. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny with a high of 59 for Thursday. Friday, sunny, high of 67, so near 70 for Friday. And then looking at the weekend, sunny, 57 on Saturday. For you Super Bowl Sunday, sunny skies, 62 for a high. So if you need to get outside and toss the old pigskin around a little bit or work off some of those jalapeno poppers in between, if you can get time away for the commercials, of course, to go do that. Weather should be good for all that. All right, it is 8:15. Let's go ahead and take a quick about a 4-minute break here, and then we'll talk Roswell Public Library on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
It's a new year, and the progressives in Santa Fe are trying to get their claws into Roswell. Governor Grinch has her best buddy in Roswell running for mayor. In Roswell, we are proud of our families, our industry, our traditions, and our values. We can't let the Santa Fe gang take over our community. In the Roswell municipal election on March 1st, vote to keep Roswell open, to keep Roswell independent, and to keep Roswell free. Let's keep Kintai as our mayor.
This is Dennis Kintai, and I approve of this ad.
Move on over to the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop in downtown Roswell. The Cow is stocked with fabrics and everything you need. And the Calico Cow is your destination for brand new Brothers sewing machines. Find out more and shop online at roswellquilting.com or move on over to the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop in downtown Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
Fergie's Plumbing and Heating now has financing available through One Main Financial. Let Fergie's keep your house warm all winter long. Call 622-2260 today. And when you get a new HVAC unit from Fergie's, you get a $50 Cattle Baron gift card on them. Fergie's Plumbing and Heating, 622-2260.
Austin Industrial is currently seeking a janitorial staff position to work in the Holly Frontier Refinery. You will be responsible for cleaning and sanitizing offices, meeting rooms, bathrooms, kitchen and dining room, and public areas. No minimum education requirements are needed, no experience is required, and pay is $13.50 an hour for this full-time 40-hour-a-week position. Apply at austin-ind.com or call Miss Cookie Look at 832-657-3385. Austin Industrial is an equal employment opportunity employer.
When it comes to the security of your home or business, you want a local company, not a faceless national company, but one that has a personal investment right here in Southeast New Mexico. Xena Security Services is your local Honeywell dealer, and they specialize in service after the sale. They can handle all of your business and residential alarm and cameras, as well as home theater installation, all with contracts on your terms and all from a local company. The real Xena Security Services, right here in Southeast New Mexico. Call today, 626-3521. Protection with a local touch.
Times are changing, and today's funerals aren't always the sad and solemn events you might expect. This is Gabriel Casaus from Lagrone Funeral Chapel. Along with hymns and scriptures, today's funeral services are often filled with fish stories, country songs, and a joke or two. golf clubs, and hot rods, favorite recipes, and kitchen disasters. At LaGrone Funeral Chapel, we believe a funeral should reflect your loved one's personality, passion, and sense of humor. When you lose a loved one, we're here, because at LaGrone Funeral Chapel and Crematory, we make it personal.
900 South Main, Roswell.
Buying a good, clean, reliable pre-owned vehicle is about the smartest thing you can do these days. But how do you know it's good, clean, and reliable? Just visit your friends at Roswell Ford. Here at the Tailgate Nation, we have over 100 outstanding pre-owned vehicles ready to serve you and your family for years to come. How do you know? Because we put everyone through a rigorous 139-point inspection, and we give you a 3-day money-back guarantee to be sure it's right. These are vehicles that you'll be proud to own and thrilled to drive, like a 2015 Ford Fusion Hybrid for just $11,980, a 2017 Ford Escape, just $15,980, and a 2020 Ford Explorer XLT for just $39,980, plus about 100 more that are just as good. Sure, you can get a used car just about anywhere, but you'll only find a selection like this at Roswell Ford. So don't take chances. Come by and see us at Roswell Ford, the Tailgate Nation at the corner of 9th and Main.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The world's oldest chewing gum dates back to at least 5,000 years. After chewing it, they stuck it at the bottom of their desk. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Public Library, Tracy Fry back with us. Good morning, Tracy. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Fare okay in the
blizzard?
Frigid temperatures last week? How'd the library do? I know that, no burst pipes or any.
Open as
course,
open our regular hours, and
they've done a lot of work over there. So, because they obviously, what was it, about a year ago or so when they had the water main break and all that happen over there, and that kind of took the library out of commission for a little bit there. So, good news is everything fared well for the subarctic couple days we had there. So. Good. By the way, we're going to talk about all the stuff coming up here at the library, but if you're looking for a resource for families and things here as a place for families to do things together, the library's full of great ideas for that kind of stuff. Take all the scheduled events, which we're about to tell you some here aside, take all those nights out and just taking your family down and going and say, hey, let's go look at some books, or you got your little ones, and you always do story time with them at night and say, hey, let's grab a half dozen books here, and we'll make that story time for the next week here. That's the kind of stuff you can, and let them pick the books and make them active parts of all that stuff. That's the fun part of the library. There's so many ways that you can interact and have fun group activities with your family, and not one dime was spent. Or what I mean? And and of course that's just tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's so many, and we're about to tell you some here. Just different events, special occasions or activities, or just weekly or monthly events that take place at the library. They're just it's second Tuesday a month. That means we got this going on tonight. Come on out, and that's and there's a lot of that stuff. So pay attention here for the next few minutes, and then if you want. Come by the library, get you one of those calendars to put up on your refrigerator. That way you can stay, or if you want to be more advanced technologically, you can like and follow the library on Facebook or Instagram. And that'll be in essence your refrigerator calendar. Just use it and keep it handy there in your bookmarks and stuff. So they what's going on the library this week? Oh, look, they've got this, and this. So very good. So a lot of stuff here, and if you're a family raising a family here in Roswell, New Mexico, or Southeast New Mexico, the library should be very much a part of your weekly, daily, monthly activities that you do as a family.
Correct.
So, very good. So where do we want to start as far as things happening at the library here?
Well, you started off, talking about story time, and we do have story time. Mother Goose on the Loose, we have it at 10:30 on Tuesdays.
And that's for the young ones,
that's like from birth to 3.
Gotcha.
And we have a second one also Tuesday at 5 p.m., and it's Mother Goose on the Loose in Spanish.
Oh, cool.
And that's at 5 p.m. And it's led by Diana, who came here once before.
And I'm telling you right now, I don't care if your child or you have a Spanish background, but bring them anyway. You know how, I mean, they always, the science, the math, they're saying, you know, kids that get exposed to that stuff. Imagine if you're taking them to story time, the English and the Spanish version, especially living in this part of the country.
Yes.
You know how big of an advantage you're setting your child up to just be able to communicate and navigate through life here.
Yes.
If they're fluent and English and Spanish in Southeast New Mexico.
Right.
And they pick that up just because you took them to story time. And kids are sponges. And they'll absorb that stuff. And whereas you and I, as adults, sitting there listening to that in story time, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. They're absorbing that stuff. And next thing you know, they start singing the songs in Spanish or start doing some of the, you know, the poetic side of some of these stories. And guess what? They're learning Spanish. It's pretty cool.
And last week was our very first Mother Goose on the Loose in Spanish. And I think it was maybe 2 families that were there that were Spanish speakers. The rest were just there to bring their kids to
get exposed to
Spanish.
Cool. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's and vice versa.
Right.
Do it as well. Maybe if English is the second language or learning that, you know, bring them out to story time. I know this for people that come from foreign countries and they come here to live and I know many of those individuals that I've met in my life like that. Most of them say things like they came here learning and they learned English like watching TV. And it's because you're engrossed in the culture. It's just like you want to learn Spanish real quick, let them drop you off in Mexico City and say, here you go. Go live.
Program.
Yeah, and guess what? You're going to figure out Spanish pretty quick, you know, over time. It's no different when people come to our country and they you know, 24/7 surrounded in English. Start picking up at that. I have my brother's college roommate is from Russia.
Okay.
And he grew up in New York City, there in Little Russia in New York, and didn't speak a lick of Russian a lick of English. And by college time, he's fluent in English and everything. And it's literally from watching TV and everything. And certain words, he had an accent. But if you had a conversation with him, you probably. If it was just a simple little work conversation, you probably wouldn't even know he's from Russia.
Right.
He just, you know, occasionally he'll say a few words and you're like, ooh, that's not how we pronounce that. but yeah, for the most part, that's how, you know, and it really is that immersion thing. So please, I got way sidetracked, but that's the point, you know, expose these kids to, you know, even though that's not your native tongue or your even preferred language, bring them and expose your children to all that and give them those opportunities that who knows, you know, even if they don't pursue any careers or anything or foreign languages, you live in Southeast New Mexico. How handy would it be to, you know, communicate with someone in their native language or you know, it's just you got another tool in your pocket that's going to help too.
Exactly.
So, yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked again.
Okay, that's fine. And then on Wednesday we have our music and movements story time at 10:30. And that's it's stories, including with dancing.
Gotcha. Get them up and moving and shaking a leg and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Cool.
And then Wednesdays, this Wednesday we're going to have a STEM at 2:30.
Okay.
Next week we're going to move our STEMs back to 4:30 because we had a request.
Oh, okay.
So this week it'll be at 2:30.
All right.
On Wednesday, STEM. The 16th we'll go back to 4:30.
Okay. Now, from there on out, will it stay 4:30?
Yes, it will.
Okay, so so this will be the last 2:31 this week. From here on out, it'll be after school 4:30.
Yeah, well, some of the kids get out of school at early.
I gotcha.
But it was just someone asked if we could just move it to 4:30.
Get home, get a snack, get a little, you know, maybe get some homework done or what they got to do, and then head on out to the library afterwards.
Right.
Cool. Very good. But so if you'd like to come out this week, it'll be 2:30. But if that doesn't work, then come on out next week when it takes over in the 4:30 time.
Yeah, and if they come this week, if they come Wednesday, we'll let them know. The following week, just come at 4:30.
Come to 2:30 next week. Library will be open, but there won't be.
They can hang out though.
Yeah, come out 2 hours early and maybe go read a book or something. You know.
There you go.
Perfect.
Okay, and then this Saturday we're going to have a movie.
Okay.
We moved a lot of our activities, like our Lego clubs and movies and board games to Saturday because we figure we might attract the bigger
people
crowd.
Have a little more free time.
Exactly.
Tuesday they get off work or whatever, and if the kids have any kind of church or practice or something, and They don't get home. Oh, we don't have. Let's skip. Now Saturday they're like, no, what do you got going on this morning? Let's go grab some breakfast and then go play Legos. Whatever it is. So cool.
So this Saturday we're gonna have a movie. It's Alita Battle Angel, and it's at 2:00, and it'll be free popcorn.
Yeah, free
so just
popcorn.
come on.
Good deal. Now, do you guys do that inside? I guess with it being colder and
Yes,
stuff.
we do it in our Bondurant meeting room, which is the big one.
The big meeting room there.
Right.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So come and bring a good movie watching clothes. I don't know, not pajamas and stuff, but something kick back and
relax.
Yeah, and enjoy some popcorn and watch a fun movie as a family there.
Yes.
So, very good. For free, by the way.
Free. Everything at the library is free.
Yeah.
On the 19th, which is the following Saturday, we're going to have board games.
Okay.
Now, this past Saturday, we had chess club and Legos.
Okay.
So this is always the first Saturday we have chess club and Legos.
Okay.
So chess club is from 10 to 2, and then Legos is from 11 to 1.
Okay.
And so you can come in, and if you want to go, you can be any level with chess.
Okay, so if you want to learn the game, come on out. But if you
know how to play, just come on out too.
Okay.
And you can come in if you want to do that. That's fine. 11 o'clock Legos will be available, and you can come over and play that.
Okay. So cool. Especially if you're a chess person and wanting to play some chess with some folks and meeting other folks that are into chess, or like you said, maybe you've always wanted to learn or maybe the basic moves, but.
Right.
Chess is one of those things, it's easy to learn, a lifetime to master. And,
yes.
So if you want to come and, trade some strategies and, talk chess with some friends the first Saturday of every month.
Right.
Come on out to the library, beginning about 10 a.m.?
10 to 2.
10 to 2. Very good. And I'm sure they've got everything you need as far as
right.
chess
You just show
boards and
up.
stuff.
Yes.
But imagine some people got their fancy travel chess sets. Want to
well,
bring
they're
them
more
out.
than welcome to
bring them on out too. But if you're busting out your Civil War pewter chess set that came, remember those?
Yes.
And it came one at a time. They give you one different one, and I imagine that's pretty weighty and takes a lot of space. But I never ordered one, but just based on the commercials, look like it takes up a lot of space.
Yes. Yes.
Very cool. What else do we want to promote here and let folks know about?
Okay, so we've been having raise a super reader program.
Okay.
Which is it's sort of like 1,000 books before kindergarten.
Okay.
So the parent would just read to the child. Every time they read, they would list the book that they read. If they read the same book 3 times, 4 times, it counts.
These are
time.
kids. They like that, and that's a good thing with kids.
Yes.
Repetition, memorization, that's all part of the learning process for them.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so if the first 50 books, they'll get a little certificate, and they'll get to choose a book, so they can start their child's library.
Okay, cool.
If they complete the 1,000 books before kindergarten, well, it's not before, raise a super reader, they will get this. Their child will get a certificate, a book, and they would also get a cape that says super reader.
Nice.
And with a little mask and everything.
Oh, you know what? Especially, and I'm not trying to be gender biased, but every boy, a 6-year-old boy wanted one of those. I don't care who you were.
Yeah.
And moms.
Yes.
Think how many towels you're going to save now because they actually have a cape. Instead of wonder where all your towels at.
Yes.
They keep tying them
there
up.
There you go.
Capes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we're having a lot of success with people signing up for it when they see the cape and they learn that they can, build their child's library, and the child can choose the book or the parent can choose it. It's up to them.
Those kids are that's imagination. They just thought about 10 different games they're going to play when they see that cape and mask. They're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're calling their buddies, and they're like, you're going to have to play the bad guy because I got my cape and mask, and I'm the good guy. Yeah, I know. I already hear the percolating stories right now and scenarios. So cool. So if you'd love to participate in that, please come out to the library and ask, come to the children's section there and say, hey, I heard about the 1,000-book program, Super Reader program. I'd love to get my child involved.
It's just a little form they fill out, and they just leave that here, and they get the little, a little thing about what is raise a super reader, because you want to expose your kids to books, and then they get the first sheet. And then when they return this, they get another sheet, and then, and they...
And I'm sure there's some parents saying 1,000 books. That's a lot of books. But
right.
We're talking children's books, and like you said, it's repeat. I mean, how many parents know that you've probably read the same story to your children over and over and over again, and you knock it out in about 10 minutes or so, depending. And generally speaking, usually at this point, the kid's probably telling you the story. You're just kind of flipping the pages and holding it and discussing the story with them and the pictures and things. But that's all part of sealing that love for reading for the kids and creating that, implanting those seeds of reading as a good thing and a fun thing and something that and this is something that, and parents, I mean, we all need to realize that once you give that kid, your child, that ability to read, you're giving them the world. They're giving them the ability to do things on their own, because in theory, in essence, you know, once you have the ability to read and understand and comprehend, there's nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want on this planet. You true. You learn about it, and read about it, and understand it, and study it, and you go at your own. That's the beauty of reading and entertainment and everything else. I mean, we talk about all the stories that we show them, the cartoons on Netflix. I'm like, these are all. That's just the modern version of storytelling. You know what the OG of that is? Books.
Exactly.
That's the one that started this off. This is the true form of storytelling. And, really, I mean, but if you talk about writing on walls and all that's probably before, but it's all part of that evolutionary scale. And so this is where parents and kids, we got to get them out there. You know, we're having fun with the capes and all that, but legit, really, when you're reading the Dr. Seuss books 27 times to your kid, you're creating that foundation for them, because I know, and we all have it. How many times do we remember as kids, mom and dad doing a certain book or a certain book we always checked out the library? Like for me, it was always the Shel Silverstein poet books, The Lighthouse in the Attic, Where the Sidewalk Ends. Those were books that were like hot ticket items, and I used to get mad when I go to the elementary school library and someone already checked it out. I'm like, no, it's my turn to get that book. I checked out 15 times, but I kept, you know what I mean? That's But that's where love of reading comes from, and so you've got to kindle that and make that a part of your child's life, and that's the only way it happens, is if you expose them to it.
And if the parents have like really small kids and they're reading to them, they can use the board books. I mean, they don't have to use like the Dr. Seuss, which is a little bit longer.
Gotcha.
But they can use the short one.
Anything that's appropriate to their skill level, basically. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's about. And like you said earlier, it doesn't matter if you read them this book 15 times, then it counts 15 times.
Exactly.
It's because it's all moving them forward in becoming readers and love of reading.
And it's all at the parent and the child's pace.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to do it within so many weeks. No, you do it at your pace.
Yeah, maybe one night you read 3 books. Maybe you skip a night, and then you know, next night you read 2 more. I mean, it's just whatever. Or maybe it's the weekend. We do now we do some daytime stuff, or we do something. It's whatever works in your schedule and how it works for your family. But all we're saying is make it a part, because this is the kind, especially in the COVID world, where learning for these children has been very
challenging.
Yeah, challenging and for lack of a better term, just inconsistent. That's the big problem. So we got to make it up on the back end, and really things like this, story time, and especially for these younger kids, that's the kind of stuff that you're instilling the learning, but then their desire to go and do it themselves too. Correct. And finding books and things that they interest them, and presenting it in ways that is not like a teacher or someone telling you had to do it. I mean, how many of us, in high school or whatever, like, all right, To Kill a Mockingbird, what's that, middle school probably, they start reading that one.
Right.
I mean, it's actually a very good story, and but because a teacher made you, you're less apt to want to.
Right.
But then once you go and get into the story, you're like, okay, this is more interesting than I thought, but because it was assigned to you as a work in school, you're going to treat it as such, and you're going to treat it like a textbook instead of a novel. And that's a different mindset, especially, middle school, high school.
Right.
So this is why you got to plant those seeds early and get that. So hopefully by the time they're at those age where they're being asked to read books that are kind of outside their comfort zone or outside their normal selection of books, it'll be an easier transition, because they're very affluent. Maybe they're reading, I don't know, Star Wars books or whatever they're into at that moment, or I was going to start dating myself and say Twilight and things like that, but pretty sure that's so 10 years ago. I have no idea. But read, that's my point. Good deal. What else do we want to make sure we get word out
Well,
about
we're
here?
still on Tuesday nights from 5:30 to 6:30. We're still doing our Tech Tuesday, where if you have a question about like your device,
okay,
you come in. You have
This is probably more for adults than kids because we're the ones that have the questions on how to work this.
Exactly.
And how
You need to
do all
ask
that.
a kid, but yes, you can come to the reference desk.
Okay.
Actually, come anytime you wanted to, but Tuesdays from 5:30 to 6:30, there'll be someone there to help you.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday at 5:00, we still have the adult coloring.
Okay.
So kids can come in the adults can come in and get a sheet and just relax.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're not familiar with this is a trend that picked up several years ago, and it's just, think about when you were a kid and you were coloring and coloring books and you kind of your own little creative. Well, they made adult versions. They made coloring books that are more challenging for adults as opposed to being, the simpler ones that kids do. And so, yeah, and obviously, I guess you theoretically could, but they don't bust out the Crayolas and start going. They usually have coloring pencils and things.
Yes, we have pencils and we have the sheets, so you just come pick it up and.
Now, I guess there's nothing stopping you if you want to go out and get the Crayolas and start going crayon. But I'm thinking the detail on these are little, like you can't use the wider Crayola. Right. But, maybe you can whittle down that if you got that 64 count with the crayon sharpener, maybe you can get a finer point on there and work on it. But you do you. That's your coloring world.
Right.
That's the whole point of it. So that, what Tuesday nights did they do that?
It's every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
At 5:00.
Very good.
Okay. And then on Fridays at 3:00, we have the Stitches United. So it's like the crochet club.
Very good. So if you want to learn more about crocheting.
That's more adult.
Okay. But again, all skill levels, whether you're an experienced crocheter or you've never done it before and love to learn it, if you have a desire and interest, then you're invited to come on out and be a part of it. So, and again, I always love to encourage younger folks there because anytime we get into crafting, crocheting, quilting, I feel like these are art forms that have always been passed, really family traditions to me. It seems like, parents to children passing those traditions on, but parents aren't doing them anymore here. So the tradition's not, so, it's almost like if you're going to find out now, you got to find out from like a grandparent or something like that.
Yes.
And we need to get that. We need those skill sets in our homes again. The crafting, the sewing, those are very much part of family.
Right.
It's
it is.
Not everything you need in life comes off of Amazon or eBay.
No.
Sometimes you're going to want to know, even if it's simple, like sewing a button on, you got to have that skill set, especially if you're going to live on your own at some point in life.
Hemming a pair of pants.
Yes, basic, simple, because it's going to happen.
Yes.
You're going to be late for work. You're going to be buttoning your shirt, and blink, one of those come off, and you ain't got time to go to Amazon and buy a new shirt or go into the closet and buy a new shirt. So whip out the sewing kit, boom, 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 get that button back on. And by the way, you ever notice if you buy a button-up shirt and you see a couple loose buttons just sewed on at the bottom, you're like, well, that's not buttoning it. Those are spare buttons.
Exactly.
If you lose one, you take one there and you put it back to where it was missed. That's why they're there. That's the only reason they're there. In case you didn't know when you were wondering, that's why. But maybe come to one of the crochet classes. You might learn some of those kinds of things.
There you go.
What's the times or dates on the Stitchers Unite?
Stitchers is Friday at 3 p.m.
Very good. So come and get your craft on and get your
craft on.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's beautiful work that comes out of there. And if you're I know a lot of people that do it, it's that kind of Zen cathartic type.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean?
You just sit there and crochet and you just relax.
So if you're looking for maybe a way to de-stress, get you some you time.
Yeah.
Maybe crocheting's your ticket for some of that. So come on out to one of the Friday meetings and see if it's your thing.
Yes.
And next thing you know, and I don't care if you're a guy or a girl.
Right.
It really doesn't matter.
Because we have a guy leading the class.
There you go. Yeah, it's I mean, most of us probably think it's a female activity, but it really isn't. No, there's the ability to create. I don't care what gender you are. If you got that ability, you're going to be doing just fine.
Yep. Yes.
Very good. What else we want to get out there?
Well, I'll be back later this month to talk to you, but just for you guys to have a heads up.
Put it on your radars.
March 5th.
Okay.
11 a.m. We're having a big Dr. Seuss program in the lot.
Is that the Dr. Seuss Day, that March 5th? Or
well, it's that week.
That week of, okay.
And so that Saturday, we're going to have a Dr. Seuss celebration, and we're going to have games. We're going to have cupcakes. We're going to even have a face painter.
Nice.
So it's a come and go event, so you can come in and you can do all the games, and you can get the cupcakes and get your face painted.
Nice.
And then if and your kid's ready, they're getting tired, you can leave.
There you go. Yeah, well, I mean, and think of the world of Dr. Seuss, the colors, the ooblex and all the stuff that we think of, the poetry that is Dr. Seuss. Come ready for some of that fun.
Yeah, we've been having fun making truffle trees and
nice. No dining on green eggs and ham or anything like that.
No, we're going to skip that one. That one we'll skip. We'll have popcorn instead.
There we go.
And our last big thing that's coming up in March is going to be our Jim Gill concert.
Okay.
And that's on March 18th at 11 and at 1, and it's on a Friday.
Okay.
And that's spring break week.
Okay.
And Jim Gill is a well-known family concert person.
Oh, cool.
And if you can just Google him and you'll see the type of music. And the kids always enjoy it. He has little dances with his songs.
Oh, okay.
So
he's, because when you said Jim Gill, I'm not going to lie.
I know.
I was thinking of Roswell C. Jim Gill. I was like, he can sing? I didn't know he could. He's an entertaining man. I didn't know he could sing.
I was told by Enid that there's a Jim Gill in town. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Great man. But I ain't going to lie. If you said Jim Gill's coming out singing, I'd be out there too. I'd be like, wait a minute, Jim Gill's going to be singing? Let's bring it.
The Jim Gill from here might
come. Dueling Jim Gills. All right, everyone over at Roswell C, get your boss on the horn and see if he can do some dueling Jim Gills with the Roswell Public Library's Jim Gill.
Maybe we can get them to, he can get up there and dance with him and sing.
Although he's got a wit to him. I don't know if he's got singing ability, but I know he's a pretty funny man. So
he'll probably dance.
Maybe that's what it is. We'll get Jim the singer singing and Jim the seed guy dancing.
We can make this happen.
I think so. We can plant that seed.
There we go.
Plant that Roswell seed. What's the date on that again?
That is March 18th.
Okay, and that's a different. We're joking. It's a different Jim Gill.
Yes,
he's a gentleman coming in, and he's a. Go look up Jim Gill online, and if you see stuff about Roswell Seed, wrong Jim Gill.
Right, exactly. Just look up family concert.
Very cool.
With Jim Gill, and it's a Friday. It's that spring. We have spring break that week, and it's that Friday of the spring break.
Okay.
So.
Very cool.
And it's going to be at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m.
Very good. I know anytime we have performances like that, the kids love it, especially when they do kind of funny songs and things.
Oh, he does a lot of funny songs.
Yeah, like, and I'm sorry, there was a gentleman who used to come through all the time back in the 2000s and even before that, and he'd come to the library. He'd usually go to the schools, and one of his songs was the burrito song, and he did this whole song about the burritos, and I think he did a thing about what the burritos do to you when you toot. And of course, the kids loved all that.
Of course.
Yeah, but I apologize, I cannot remember that gentleman's name.
That was prior to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was, and I think I'm not sure if he was from here originally or he had a connection here, and I don't remember what it was. He kind of came through before me and was here during me, and I don't know all the story. I'm probably speaking out of turn, but
he might call the library and see if he can do a concert now.
You know what? He probably would be great because I'm sure he's got. Of course, some of those kids that love those songs are, maybe they're bringing their kids now. But I don't. Maybe he's not that old. I might be aging him a little bit more than I think. I'll just keep my mouth shut now before I dig a hole. Anyway, come out and see Jim Gill in March here and enjoy him. Bring the kids, bring the whole family, and like I said, did they need to RSVP for any of these, or just come on out?
No, they just show up.
Perfect. So come on out, and I know some of the events like this, Friends of the Library usually get involved and help out on certain ones.
Oh, yes. They're going to probably help. We're going to need the help because we're going to have so many. I think I ordered like 6 different games.
Okay.
So the kids will get in line, and every game they'll get a prize.
Oh, cool.
So we'll need volunteers and what have you.
So parents, your kids should be good and tuckered out by the time this event's over if you're looking for some energy exuding activities for your kids.
Yes.
Because I know parents, when the kid's quiet at the end of the day, you're
it's
like,
a good thing.
Yeah, you're like, I did my job. I wore out the kid. Yes.
And I'm worn out too.
Right. Yeah, usually other parents are like, it about killed me doing it, but I wore them out. Very good. Is there any other things we want to mention, or we get them all?
I think we got them all.
Okay. Of course, again, like I mentioned, if you have any questions about anything or want to stay up to date on what's all happening, over at the Roswell Public Library. A couple different ways you can do it. If you want to do it the old-fashioned way, come on down to the library, get you the monthly calendars here. They're usually sitting right there on the front desk.
And they can sign up for this if they have small kids. The Raise a Super Reader.
Yeah, Raise a Super Readers. Get 1,000. These children read 1,000 books here on, of course, their own pace. And obviously, every child that completes the program, they get the cape and the mask. And now they've got more stage props to set their imagination for their next adventures and things like that.
There you go.
Or I don't know if you knock it out just at the right time. Maybe it's a Halloween costume. I'm just saying. Maybe
Yes.
right time of year could work that out. But
Yes.
Stay up to date by getting that calendar, or if you use the social media, or Instagram or Facebook, like and follow the Roswell Public Library on Facebook and Instagram, and that's a great way to stay up to date on reminders for their weekly and monthly activities, and when there's special events, kind of like the Jim Gill event or some of these other STEM events and things we've been talking about here. You'll have all the information there, and then of course keep the number handy for the Roswell Public Library, because we always have, as long as the library is open, someone will get to you and help you out there. What's the main number for the library? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yes, it's 575-622-7101.
Very good. And then, of course, I know if the main public library's website, it's usually through the city's website, if I remember right.
You can also Google search Roswell Public Library, Roswell, New Mexico, and just click on the...
And it'll take you directly to it.
Right.
Perfect. But if you like to go through gauntlets, just go to roswell-nm.gov. There is a tab for this library. Click, and then it'll take you there.
Right.
But, whatever way you prefer, or like you said, just Google Roswell Public Library. Maybe put in NM. Unless you want to see
put Roswell, New Mexico. You'll be in Georgia.
Unless you want to see what's going on at the Georgia Library, which, God bless you, you're more than welcome to. But as far as activities, it's going to be quite a commute to get to.
Exactly.
I saw a story over the weekend about the other way around, where the Roswell, Georgia folks, it was a story about their stuff.
Right.
And how they have the same problem we do, but
right.
Our New Mexico one's a little bit more known internationally, so they probably have it worse than we. They type in Roswell Police and they learn about our stuff.
Oh wow!
But yeah, they were kind of talking about that. Put in Georgia in front of them. And they actually did. It was kind of a neat story because they compared and contrasted the two towns and gave like a little history of Roswell, our Roswell, and their Roswell, and it's pretty neat. It was just kind of. By the way, theirs is bigger population wise. I think theirs runs about 88,000. It's a suburb of Atlanta.
Atlanta, yes.
Where we're holding steady at 48 or whatever our number is, but
holding steady.
Yeah, but we're more famous. We got that.
Exactly.
Well, Tracy's always appreciate the visit, and folks, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Get out there. If you're looking for opportunities for your kids,
yes.
Like we were talking about some of these classes and things, but we've had Peggy Bolin on before. They've got a lot of take-home projects, things like that.
Right.
If you want to learn about some of that stuff, please come on to the library. Take-home STEM projects, other projects, things that you can do, interactions and lessons.
Yes.
Whether you homeschool your child or not, these are great things that if you do homeschool, these are great lessons that you can incorporate into your lessons.
Right.
If you don't, this is great stuff to work on extracurricular with the kids. If you're having, let's face it, I'm sure all kids are struggling in school, especially the STEM stuff right now, just because the way the world is, and could use that little extra tutoring and things. These little kits, and I don't care how great of a, you don't have to be a teacher to get these through. It's step by step explaining you how to do the lessons, and and after you get a couple under your belt, you're probably going to feel pretty comfortable with it, and you can do that. But that's extra opportunities, again, free of charge, available to you for resources for you and to get your kids, especially in the world we live in. We as parents need to be as proactive as possible in giving our kids opportunities for education and experience in things. And the library is perfect because it's all there and it's all free of charge.
Exactly.
Then all you need is a card in good standing.
Right.
Which is free to get.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, appreciate the visit. Stay. It's easier to stay warm this week. It's going to be 50s and 60s. So, but enjoy your time, and we appreciate your visit as always. And we'll see you here in a few weeks, I guess.
Yes.
All right. And take care. Go get your big breakfast now.
Thank you.
Leave her alone. She's off today. Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right. It is 8:52. Let's get you into some local news. Quick break. Town hall business as well. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. The Eddy County Sheriff's Office is congratulating Sergeant Brad Rodriguez on his retirement after 20 years of service to the community. Sergeant Rodriguez began his law enforcement career with Carlsbad Police and then made the decision to continue to serve citizens of Eddy County at the Eddy County Sheriff's Office. Ascent Aviation Services has scheduled a groundbreaking ceremony in Roswell for their new facility. The event will be Saturday, February 12th at 11 a.m. at 92 West Earl Cummings Loop in Roswell. A reception will be held after the ceremony at ENMU Roswell's Instructional Technology Center building. The Regional Emergency Dispatch Authority is currently hiring for dispatcher positions. Dispatchers are the first line of defense for police officers and for people who are calling in for help. If you're looking for a challenging and rewarding career assisting emergency responders, this might be for you. You can apply online at eddy911.com. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good for much of the upcoming week. We have high pressure in place over the southwestern states and also over the central plains, and our daytime highs will be on a warming trend. A little cool today. We'll be in the low to mid 50s, but lots of sun. Clear tonight and chilly, dropping to a low of about 20. Then we pick up about 10 degrees tomorrow, our high back in the mid 60s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Employers added a robust 467,000 jobs last month. The government's report Friday also drastically revised up its estimate of job gains for November and December by a combined 709,000. It also said the unemployment rate ticked up from 3.9% to a still low 4%. Fine art isn't just to look at anymore. It's also attractive to criminals trying to launder money, finance terrorism, and trade illegal drugs and arms. And the Treasury Department wants art dealers and those in the world of finance to do something about it. The agency issued a 40-page report Friday recommending that financial firms and art dealers set up an information-sharing database to track how sales of fine art are linked to bad actors who make anonymous purchases. On Wall Street, the Dow down 21 points. The Nasdaq gained 219, and the S&P 500 rose 23 points. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
It's scary how often we hear those police sirens lately.
Oh, this is the new normal under Mayor Dennis Kintai.
I just don't feel safe these days around Roswell, and I'm worried about our kids.
I know. It's very concerning. Murders are up 140%, and robberies are up 142% in the last 4 years under Kintai.
What?
Yeah, and assaults are up 263%.
That's unbelievable. And I heard the other day that Roswell pays their officers a starting salary 10 grand less than Hobbs and Carlsbad. No wonder we're having trouble hiring.
We need to fire Mayor Kintai and elect Tim Jennings as mayor.
Yeah, Jennings has a plan to hire 10 more officers, and he'll make sure Roswell pays competitively to recruit and retain our police force.
I know Jennings is going to build a substation in the high crime area. That'll help.
Tim Jennings, he's got my vote.
Mine too, because I know he'll keep Roswell safe.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for
Hi,
mayor.
this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman, bringing you the Joy of Marriage Minute. We are the founders of the Joy of Marriage Ministry and Conference and have pastored Church on the Move in Roswell, New Mexico for 20 years. For the past 17 years, Joy of Marriage has been investing in and helping marriages, and we are excited to bring you this year's conference.
This year, we will be joined by author, pastor, and professor D.A. Horton and his wife Alicia, as well as Pastor Diego and Cindy Mesa from Abundant Living Family Church in California. We also have a special concert from Grammy and Dove-nominated Christian country music artist Rhett Walker. This year's Joy of Marriage Conference will be February 17th through the 19th at Church on the Move in Roswell, New Mexico. And you can register online at cotmroswell.com.
So join us and experience the joy of marriage.
Austin Industrial is currently seeking a janitorial staff position to work in the Holly Frontier Refinery. You will be responsible for cleaning and sanitizing offices, meeting rooms, bathrooms, kitchen and dining room, and public areas. No minimum education requirements are needed, no experience is required, and pay is $13.50 an hour for this full-time 40-hour-a-week position. Apply at austin-ind.com or call Miss Cookie Look at 832-657-3385. Austin Industrial is an equal employment opportunity employer. employer.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical. Name to remember.
Pecans are a big deal here in Chaves County. We have some of the biggest orchards in the country, and lots of us have pecan trees in our yards. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether you have one pecan tree or 1,000 of them, this time of year, every pecan tree needs fertilizing. So come see us at Roswell Seed Company, and we'll get you fixed up with the right fertilizer for your pecan trees, so that next year, your nuts will be big and beautiful. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
You may have heard of SmartHub. SmartHub is Central Valley Electric's online tool for members to manage their electric account. With SmartHub, not only can you securely pay your bill online, you can view your detailed electric use 24 hours a day. You can report an outage while staying up to date with the latest co-op news, compare past and current electric use. Sign up for paperless billing or reoccurring payment so that your payment is never late. The best thing is you can access SmartHub from your computer, tablet, or smartphone, so it goes everywhere you go. Visit cvecoop.org to get started or give us a call.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News coming up next. We'll be back on the other side. Folks from Youth Challenge going to join us next hour. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Do not go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A Russian invasion of Ukraine. Biden administration officials say it could happen any day now, as more than 100,000 Russian troops remain camped out on the border with Ukraine. Against this backdrop, French President Macron visits Moscow today for talks with Russian President Putin, and President Biden will host German Chancellor Scholz at the White House.
It's the new German Chancellor's first official visit to Washington, and he'll be meeting with the President and members of Congress. Scholz has been criticized for refusing to send lethal military weapons to Ukraine or commit more German troops to NATO. Another point of contention with the U.S. is Germany's reliance on Russia for natural gas.
That's White House correspondent Greg Clugston. Chinese tennis star Peng Shuai has met with the head of the International Olympic Committee and has given a supervised interview to a French newspaper.
Peng again walks back the claims of sexual assault she made against a former high-ranking member of China's ruling Communist Party and calls the whole thing an enormous misunderstanding in the interview with L'Equipe, organized by China's Olympic Committee. IOC spokesman Mark Adams would not say whether they believe she was speaking freely or under duress. Peng briefly disappeared from public view in November after making those sex assault accusations on her social media account, which she says she later took down. I'm Julie Walker.
It's not in the cards. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's response to the idea of sending in the military to clear out protesting truckers in the capital, Ottawa. The truckers have turned out in force, protesting government COVID mandates, including mask requirements, and Ottawa's Mayor Jim Watson has declared a state of emergency in the city. Stocks higher on Wall Street this hour. Right now, the Dow is up 87 points, the Nasdaq ahead 72, and the S&P 12 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So I invested in one of those fancy new exercise bikes. Without a doubt, a very special tool to help me get healthier. The problem is 3 days go by, then 4, and I've done nothing. And then it's night 5, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I look down at myself, and I can't help but just laugh. Because there I am, wearing the exercise t-shirt that came with the bike, and I'm eating 2 corn dogs. And I think we'd all agree, the special tool only matters if we use it to our benefit. At United Faith Mortgage, we believe we have an advantageous tool for you. Our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions. There's no middleman. And often, this allows us to get you a better rate on your refinance or new home purchase, which can save you monthly and lifelong money. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Middle Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
There will be a meeting between the leaders of the United States and Israel this year. We get the latest from the Media Line's Felice Friedson.
President Joe Biden says he will be visiting Israel later this year. The president revealed his planned trip in a telephone call with Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett on Sunday, but failed to say when the visit would come or who else he will be meeting with. A statement issued by the White House was vague, saying only that the two men discussed a number of world situations, including the Russian threat to Ukraine, the American raid that left the head of ISIS dead, and ways to prevent Iran from making nuclear weapons. President Biden is expected to greenlight billions of dollars to Tehran that Israeli leaders have condemned. He expressed support for replenishing Israel's Iron Dome systems. I'm Felice Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
News and analysis at themedialine.org and townhall.com. Remembering a World War II hero.
A Mississippi family finally has the answers to an 8-decade mystery. The fate of Army Private Andrew Ladner had been unknown since he was killed in the war during the Battle of Bunagona. This month, the U.S. government announcing Ladner's remains had been identified. He saw combat in the mountainous jungles of New Guinea, where he died in November 1942. Ladner was 30 years old at the time of his death. Jason Walker reporting.
A man charged in an alleged plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has agreed to plead guilty according to court documents. That leaves 4 people to face trial in March. Caleb Franks said he willfully conspired with 5 other men to kidnap Whitmer before FBI agents intervened, arrested the group in October of 2020. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday. What was that?
What was what?
I guess it was kid's sleeve. It looked like a tail of an animal, I thought, I saw, and I guess it was just a cow print shirt or something, but it looked like a dog or something was doing schoolwork. I just saw this arm and it looked like a paw, and then I was like, what am I just watching? Then I realized it's probably not what I thought it was. I had a squirrel moment, and it distracted me. My apologies.
That happens, man. It happens.
I'm just like, what am I watching here?
But no, you reminded me, and I'm fascinated by it. But I am fascinated by the completely took me off my train of thought. No, by those old Sesame Street vignettes with the dogs, like the Greyhound dogs in the suits.
Yeah.
With like the man hands or whatever. Yeah, the way they would like shoot those. Have you ever watched like the behind the scenes or whatever?
I have not.
It's fascinating.
Okay.
There's like a whole this lady who like trains these dogs to like, you know, do these just to stand there and look stoic or whatever. And she specifically deals with greyhounds, and it's amazing to watch. And they brought those dogs back for like a Greyhound. I think it was the Greyhound Bus Company. Like they were running a series of ads.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's amazing the work that she does with these greyhounds.
Interesting.
Yeah. I used to love those.
I Yeah, it was just one of those weird things. I looked up and I was like, is that a dog riding? What's going on there?
Sometimes it happens, man. Sometimes
No,
it
just
happens.
a choice in clothing. Yeah, that's what Chris was just telling me. He goes, normally I'm a curling fan too. He goes, but I haven't watched one iota of Olympics yet since then. So I think there's a lot of people and I don't even know if it's political. Like, I mean, some of it's political, with China and boycott and all that, but I think people just don't care.
Yeah.
I think there's a lack of care, and
we're just tired.
I think that's part of it. I think COVID is kind of, and everyone's like, last thing I want to do is view international events here while I get talking about more restrictions.
I have
and more
found
this
it
and that. Yeah.
so hard to get motivated lately, like to do anything. I think a lot of that is just, having gone through the pandemic for, the last 2 years.
Get the 1,000-mile stare or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. We're all just, what's the term I did? Rode hard and put up wet.
Yeah.
We're just tired.
I get that. I can see. I've had moments of that myself.
Mm-hmm.
But and then that's the weird thing too, because I do enjoy the obscure sports of the Olympics, the ones that you don't see on a daily basis, like your curling and people cross-country skiing and then stopping and shooting at some targets and then cross-country skiing some more.
It's fascinating. The one that gets me is moguls.
Yeah.
Like, how do you choose to do moguls? Like, how is that your sport of choice?
Yeah.
The damage it does to your knees after just one run. You ever watched them like when they're coming down that hill? I'm shocked they even have kneecaps at the end of those runs.
It does look tough on the knees.
It looks so painful.
I've always been like that with ski jumping. Like just a big, and I ain't gonna lie, I grew up watching the Goofy Olympics and all that, and so I get a lot of the yahoo, but just the thought of a ginormous ramp and you just launching yourself, while you fly hundreds of feet, it's not like snowboarding where you just kind of go up and then back down again. You're literally flying for hundreds of feet.
Yeah, at upwards of 100 miles an hour.
And oh, by the way, you got to land this sucker.
Well, but that's what fascinates me about ski jumping is how smooth they make their landings look. It's
but just
insane.
the whole flight of the, they got to get their right form and making sure the skis are level. I mean,
could you imagine what it's like?
Beautiful to
completely
watch.
Airborne for
I can imagine
seconds.
It's pretty exhilarating for these folks.
That's got to be crazy.
But I just can't get my head around. Yeah, that's something I want to do. I'm like, launch me off that ramp and shoot me and I have no idea how fast they're going, but it looks very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they're doing 70, 80 miles. I have no idea how fast they're going.
It's the same way I feel with, is it called skeleton? Do they still do that?
That's the one with the, it's like luge, but with nothing around you.
It's just a thin layer of disc between you and death.
Here's that Clark Griswold discing.
Yeah, exactly. He's all greasing up the disc and he just shoots down an ice chute.
It's a little different, but yeah, same thing.
Hundreds of miles an hour down an ice chute.
Yeah. I understand that too. But the ski jumping's always the one. Maybe it's the like at least with the bobsled and all that. I'm like, all right, you feel like you're driving. It's kind of NASCAR like, all right, that could be kind of cool. But to just launch yourself from basically no poles, by the way, which that weirds me out too. The fact that I have nothing to do with my hands other than flap them. It makes me.
Well, if you're flapping your hands, you're not an Olympic ski jumper.
No, probably true. but that, because I don't know, I just feel like poles are part of the skiing process. And I know, like, when little kids get taught to ski, none of those kids have poles.
No.
They go whipping by you like 1,000 miles an hour and look at you like you're some kind of piece of stone sitting there. But the fact that they say, here's a big hill, it's going to launch you, I don't know, 100 feet in the air, 300 feet down the hill. Oh, by the way, you're wearing a helmet, a piece of leotard, and here's a couple skis. I mean, just none of that sounds smart to me.
I'm now absolutely, I have to go find, because I know because the internet is a thing, this has to be a thing. There have to be ski jump fail compilation videos.
Oh, I've seen it. I mean,
I need to go find this right now.
Go watch the Wide World of Sports Agony to Feet page. I'm pretty sure one of the guys tumbling down the hill on the mountains was a ski jump not gone well.
I feel like that's the one sport you mess up one time.
Oh, yeah,
and
you're done. You're done ski. That's what I'm saying. I don't like those odds.
I don't like them odds.
I didn't die. Yeah.
But that's
Give
the
me a
thrill.
medal. That's how I feel.
I made it out alive. But did you make it out alive a tenth of a second before Latvia?
Yeah.
No, you did not.
I mean, I appreciate it. I love watching it. There is not enough money on this planet to get me to do something
That's
like
the
that.
beauty of the Olympics. You know what I'm going to do while you're risking life and limb for a piece of gold? I'm going to go and turn it up a little bit. Yeah,
I'm going to go
from the comfort of my lazy boy.
I'm going to start another YouTube channel where I open beans from the 50s. And that's my more little risque thing here. We're going to talk some youth challenge this hour. We're going to have join us Aracel Mendoza with Youth Challenge. She's going to give us an update on what they've got going on. Of course, they too have been touched by the world of COVID and have been trying to navigate through that like all of us have. So we'll get an update from her here on Youth Challenge in just a little bit.
Very good.
And yeah, I'm curling. I'm down. I can, you want me to sit there and stay in that same pose while I'm shooting a big oversized puck down the ramp? I'm down with that.
What I love about curling, honestly, is the initial pusher.
Yeah.
The level of passion that they have.
Yeah.
Screaming at people with the brooms. More, right. Just the passion that they have. I love that. That's great.
I feel like those are big ego-driven dudes, persons. The head curler. I don't know what that term is.
Yeah.
I feel
number
like,
one curl boy.
Like, do you work your way to that position? Like, you started off as a sweeper? Here's a broom sweep boy, and you get to sweep.
You start in the pits, Once your sweep game steps up a notch, that's when you. I imagine you probably have it's probably like positions on a football team. You probably have your spot from the get go because you have to have that smoothness of.
I'm gonna say if you're born a sweeper.
Well, yeah.
I'm born to sweep, brother. I mean, what's
I'm born to push broom. That's how I roll.
And then, how much?
It's the only sport where custodians stand a chance. You got to love that.
I mean, what if some guy who's the pusher or whatever they call that guy, the curler? I have no idea what the terminology is.
Curly.
I mean, what if he comes up and his eyes are like in 4 different directions?
He's probably not the guy. He's probably I'm going to guess Walleye Jones.
Walleye rolls up.
Probably is not going to be your.
I'll shoot it down the pipe for you, sir.
I'm over here. The other thing about curling is, and I don't know if this is like this in the Olympics, but traditionally, like the game of curling, the losing team has to buy the winning team a round of beers.
Well, see, that makes sense.
Right?
I wonder if that's true in the Olympics.
It's like the only sport where beer is worked into the rules.
No, it's Canadian.
Well, that and, beer league.
I'd like to know, I'd just be curious, the official equipment. I mean, where does that start? What did they use heads the first time they did curling? I'm sure they didn't have those just lying around, those curling pucks. So I'd like to lose more of the history of that. All right, it is 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. While I dig up some curling lore, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Things look pretty good for much of the upcoming week. We have high pressure in place over the southwestern states and also over the central plains, and our daytime highs will be on a warming trend. A little cool today. We'll be in the low to mid 50s, but lots of sun. Clear tonight and chilly, dropping to a low of about 20. Then we pick up about 10 degrees tomorrow, our high back in the mid 60s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, let me scroll up here. I didn't scroll up. That's where the temp is. Currently 31 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 54%. Winds currently out of the north at 6 miles per hour for today. Sunny skies, mid-50s for a high today. We're saying 55 officially. Winds will be out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Skies will be clear tonight with an overnight low of 22 degrees. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Mid-60s tomorrow, mostly sunny, 66 for a high. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tuesday night, clear skies with an overnight low of 26 degrees. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mid-60s for Wednesday as well. Sunny, 64 for a high. Northwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny skies near 60, 59 there. Friday, back up upper 60s, near 70. Sunny, 67 for a high there. And then looking at your Super Bowl weekend on Saturday, sunny, 57 for a high. For Super Bowl Sunday itself, sunny skies and a high of 62. All right, it is 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and we're going to take about a 4-minute break, and then we'll talk Youth Challenge on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Hi, I'm Dennis Kintai, Mayor of Roswell. Since becoming mayor in 2014, we've accomplished a lot. We've cleaned out numerous derelict structures that spoil our neighborhoods. We've constructed a state-of-the-art aquatic center. We have built 2 new splash pads in city parks for families to enjoy. We have invested over $25 million to revitalize our air center. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the city of Roswell has stayed open and free while we work to ensure everyone's safety. Today, we are under attack from those trying to impose Santa Fe values on our way of life. I will always fight to keep Roswell values front and center. We've done a lot, but there's more to be done. I'm asking you to vote to keep me, Dennis Kintai, as your mayor on March 1st. Together, we can keep Roswell free. This is Dennis Kintai, and I approve of this ad.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925, we have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency.
Wilbanks Trucking Services is seeking dedicated, responsible, and committed professionals to join their team. CDL and non-CDL positions are available. Wilbanks Trucking Services offers comprehensive training, excellent benefits including housing, and opportunity for advancement. They understand the importance of family and maintaining a work-life balance, making your family their priority. To join the leaders in oilfield services, call 575-746-3618 or visit wilbanks.us for more information on career opportunities. Wilbanks Trucking Services is an equal opportunity employer.
The University of New Mexico is committed to ensuring that residents of our state entering college for the first time can afford to pursue a bachelor's degree with the Lobo First Year Promise. Qualified first-time freshmen who have graduated from a New Mexico high school and have an annual family income of $50,000.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor and a PTO Quick Connect that hooks up rear implements with a single click. John runs with us because to him, there's nothing more important than connecting with the land. Nothing runs like a Deere. Hear John's story at Deere.com.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, So Easy Sewing finally has our most popular sewing machines and sergers back in stock. We have the Zest, our entry-level machine, on sale for $149. We have the Amazing Jazz 2, which boasts a 12-inch throat, on sale for $7.99, and our number one selling Verve sewing embroidery combo machine on sale for $9.99. All machines include lifetime instruction on the use of the machine. Hurry in to 200 East College Boulevard in Roswell to claim your new machine before they're gone. So Easy Sewing. You've never had it so easy.
The National Education Association of New Mexico, a union of teachers and school staff, believes every child deserves to learn at a school that inspires their imagination, cultivates their curiosity, and ensures a fulfilling life. Public schools should provide all our students with small class sizes and one-on-one attention. NEA New Mexico asks you to join us so together we can end the teacher and staff shortage and invest in our public education system once and for all. Sponsored by NEA New Mexico.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Bamboo plants can grow up to 36 inches in a day. So if you're told you're growing like a weed, you can say, "No, I'm growing like a bamboo." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Youth Challenge. Make sure I say this right. Araceli Mendoza, am I saying that right?
That's perfectly fine with me, Araceli Mendoza, but Araceli is perfectly fine. I've had my name told different things, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay, well, I'm not intentionally trying to butcher.
Not a problem.
My tongue is, it's a little early for my tongue to be. We're doing all that. Well, first off, good morning, and welcome here, and hopefully able to stay warm and everything. The winter weather last week didn't pose too much of a problem for you or anybody at Youth Challenge, I'm hoping. So.
Not at the Youth Challenge. We had the snow day. The schools closed on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So that was our snow day traditionally as well.
Gotcha. Very good. So you just kind of follow suit there and be good to go. Well, let's probably start there before we kind of get into the meat and everything here. I'm sure a lot of folks have heard of Youth Challenge, and they may even have an idea of what they think Youth Challenge is. But let's kind of just for folks that either don't know or might think a certain thing, because it's more than what people think it is. Give folks a little bit of background and just a little bit of what Youth Challenge is all about.
Well, I'm glad you said that. A lot of individuals across the state of New Mexico do not actually know what the New Mexico National Guard Youth Challenge is or what we bring to the table.
Sure.
We're out here in the state of New Mexico trying to reach students 16 to 18 years of age. We were talking before we came on air. Traditionally, we're trying to reach students that are at risk of dropping out of high school or have dropped out of high school. We're not trying to take, teens out of that high school component, out of their environments. But there's a lot of kids that do not excel in school traditionally. So we want them to excel in high school if that's what they're doing. But we have a lot of outliers that have already dropped out, are not linking in that virtual teaching environment.
This is another opportunity to get that education they need.
Most definitely. We are an equivalent, what we call a high set to a GED, well, not a GED, to that diploma, but it's a high set, what we call the high set. So we're out there, we're a quasi-military high school, the quasi-military component, so they change from, we don't call them, they're not, we call them cadets because it's a quasi-military school.
Okay.
So that's what the status is, cadet.
Got you.
We want to outreach all across the state of New Mexico to these students that are not excelling in school. So if they have a IEP in school, we ask that they bring that IEP traditionally so that we can understand what they're deficient in.
Gotcha.
So if it's reading, math, science, we want to work with them one-on-one.
Sure, to get a special focus on their individual needs and things like that.
Most definitely. And please, if we have orientations every night, well, not every night, but we have a lot of, they go to our www.nmyca.net.
Okay.
Even on Facebook, we have developed a QR code. I should say April Kirkman, our new deputy director. If I put this out or...
Yeah, actually point it there because that'll be the camera.
Okay, well, we have this pamphlet we developed, but right there we have a QR code.
Okay.
We have it on our pamphlets, as you see, but if you go to our website, there's a lot of new developments that our IT guy, Guillermo Nieto, and our team has developed together as a team.
Okay.
To make it as easy as possible for our families.
Gotcha.
If they call us, we have a lot of
streamline all the logistics stuff, especially the last couple of years here with COVID world and a lot of virtual presence stuff. You guys had to kind of shut down a lot of activities over this time, but now that we're starting to open back up, you want even some of the, I guess, traditional ways of signing up for Youth Challenge has kind of changed a little bit because of the COVID world.
Most definitely. Traditionally, we had a lot of face-to-face communications with our families, but we're still out there recruiting all across the state of New Mexico. We're online, we're accepting phone calls, and we still have people coming into the building occasionally. We will meet you where you're at. Call us, meet us online.
Wherever the need is, you guys will make that happen.
Yes, we'll make it happen.
Gotcha.
We're out there to meet everyone. We're developing anything and everything we possibly can to meet our teens.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to steal anybody from their environmental settings.
Sure.
But we know that there's definitely someone out there that needs us.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity through Youth Challenge, and that's the thing that we want to make sure we get people to understand is, and like you said earlier, because I think most people think, of a one thing, like it's a scared straight program or something. And that's not really what it is. This is an opportunity. Now, like you said, it's military style in as far as the terms of education and training, using the term cadets. And that's really because it helps. It's a great tool for instilling some of the characteristics that human beings need to succeed, discipline, some of the things that we all have to have in some way, shape, or form. We all need some of that in our lives, and some people learn that differently than others, and that's where Youth Challenge comes in. It presents a way. I went through basic training in the military, and so I understand a little bit of what you guys do that way. It's by no means, it's not military basic training. It's a whole different, that's a little different. There's a different purpose what they're doing there than what Youth Challenge is. They use elements of some of that to kind of instill the needs of paying attention to detail and that discipline side, making sure that you understand there's consequences for decisions, and there's good, and there's good and bad in every decision that you make. And that's where the military, that training environment, does a good job of showing you those and showing you consequences for decisions, good and bad. And it's a real good tool for that. So really, that's why they do that, to instill that discipline, to make these individuals, however they got there, doesn't matter, whether it's they just don't comprehend it or other priorities in life took a front seat to the education, which I imagine is a lot of cases for some of these individuals. The military style puts that back into perspective. It's like, okay, I get it. You want to have fun here and here, but in order to do this effectively and fun, you need to make sure we take care of this, this, and this. And military style training kind of enhances that a little bit. Is that a pretty fair statement?
Most definitely. We would definitely want to instill leadership skills, academics. And we're not a boot camp. We're not in any component going to have them be like a summer camp, but we are going to instill leadership skills.
Sure. We're
going to instill a lot of life skills and a lot of other core components that they can carry on into their lifestyles.
Sure.
We have vocations that they can carry on into their communities.
Mm-hmm.
And those vocations can also give them the opportunity to have a career education. ENMU is also linked up with us.
Yeah.
So when they get their vocations, if they want to do fire and science, if they want to do, let's say, for example, be a nurse, or I'm going to open this up for a little bit right here.
Yeah. Use your notes. That's
yes.
what they're there for.
So, for example, like right here, if they want to do, I just want to say that I've seen a lot of our youth, and Cycle 41 was the first cycle that we actually graduated after COVID.
Okay, that's your first post-COVID class.
Yes, our post-COVID class. And then so for Cycle 42 here, we start February the 20th.
Okay.
And our it'll be a little shortened cycle because we have 22 weeks.
Okay.
And during those 22 weeks, we have an acclimation period, which consists of 2 weeks.
Okay.
So during that acclimation period, they can actually have that 2 week they'll have that 2 week to get acclimated with our
lifestyle and things like that.
Yes, with the schedule, as you were saying, to adjust to the staff, to adjust to our schedule,
Sure.
and to identify how it feels to be acclimated with, like you were saying.
Sure.
How does it feel? And a lot of people have that misconception that, it's a boot camp. No, it's not.
No.
They can identify how does it feel to wake up, to have somebody say, this is what you need to do. This
Sure.
is how you dress. This is how you adjust to this leadership, this followership.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you identify with myself, with my being? And at home, they may have that lifestyle, but no, it's not necessarily kids that have been through the system,
Sure.
judicial system. No, we have kids from all different walks of life.
Sure.
And everyone deserves the opportunity to come in.
And it gives them a chance to be exposed to skill sets that they may or may not have had, and that's part of the problem. And when we look at, like you said, it's, they do like the drill, and like you talked about some of the military style activities, like your drill, and talking about what to eat, when to dress, and how to dress, but all of that's part of the teaching process. And I know from like the military side, which it's kind of the same purpose here. They don't really. They'll spend hours with you making sure that you get your right, your right faces and you're turning and making sure you're doing it exactly correct. But the reason is they use these as tools to get you to pay attention to detail. They want you to know if you're going to devote that much focus and time and attention to something as simple as walking a straight line and turning left or right or whatever it is, then you want to put that same attention to detail to something more important, like as a nurse or as a carpenter or as whatever your skill set in life. They want to teach you the skill sets it takes to pay that kind of attention and focus to do those things right, but they do it in skills that are much more mundane, like dressing and putting and marching and things like that. And so it really is a metaphor in life here. It's like, yeah, I get it. You're sitting there shining a boots with a brush for 2 hours, but we want you to put that pride, that attention, that your own stamp on that thing. And if you're doing that with boots, you're going to do the same thing when your boss hands you that big project that's got to be due next week or whatever's in store for you in your future.
Most definitely. And the attire also, their uniform, everything that will be given to them, they'll be able to identify, wear it with pride, as you were saying.
Sure.
Be part of a color guard if they want to, be part of a drill if they want to. Mm-hmm. Our mass sergeants, our cadre, everyone will instill those leadership skills with them. They'll be able to identify the way they walk, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves. Sure. All those skills that they will identify and adapt to, they will carry on in life. And they will be able to have that passion and be passionate with those things. We do have that curriculum that they'll be able to go on, and whether it's at ENMUR, whether it's within the classes that they take, everything they do, that walk of life, and our Facebook page as well. If parents want to take a look at it, at the New Mexico National Guard Youth Challenge Academy, they will be able to take a look at that Facebook page and see everything that our previous cadets have done, and they've done with honor, with integrity. Mm-hmm. And we'll be able to see how our the youth did it, how they carried themselves, as you were saying.
Sure.
Anything as they shine their boots. It's just not about shining boots. It's about doing it with pride.
Absolutely. And doing it together. That's the, and I want to kind of ask you this. I imagine you get a lot of the cadets that come in, and now for the first time in maybe their entire lives, they feel like they're part of something.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? It's especially if you live in a world where you feel like everyone's out to get you, or no matter what you do, there's someone trying to fight you on it. That's mentally going to take its toll on people. It just does. And so sometimes being put into something, you're a piece in a bigger cog sometimes, and you realize that and that's where I think Youth Challenge and really that military style does a great job of, yes, you're important, we need you to do this, yeah, we're going to hold you accountable, but at the same time, we're going to get in the dirt with you and do everything, because we're not going to make you do anything that we wouldn't do ourselves or do, it gives you that sense of camaraderie, and you're going to experience the camaraderie much like law enforcement or EMS or military people feel, that kinship, the bonds that you create there. You're getting some of that in Youth Challenge too. Now, granted, the tasks and things you're learning aren't quite the same as what the Army and military folks are doing, but the concept behind putting those principles together are the same. Giving you, I got to be honest, when we talk about racism and the things in our world today, look at the military and how they do it. Military has been dealing with races for a long time, but I'm not saying they're perfect, but racial problems aren't as big a thing in the military, because they treat you all the same. You're all the same, you know what I mean? And you're going through it together. It doesn't matter what color you are. And there's something to be said about that. And I think Youth Challenge does a great job of doing that too. You know what I mean? We got people from all different backgrounds, people from all different learning experiences, people that values aren't even the same. They grew up in a certain set of, but now we got to put them all in together and work together. And some beautiful magic comes from that. And that's really what Youth Challenge is all about, just much like military and everything else, is putting people from other places, all different walks of life, getting them together and getting them to work together on the same page and achieve a goal together. And
we actually do interview them, and we ask them if they embrace culture and if they have a problem with anybody that comes in with different ethnic and cultural backgrounds. Mm-hmm. And we have actually part of the curriculum, we have citizen and character counts, and citizenship is instilled with them. Mm-hmm. they come out into our community and they do volunteerism. And I don't know if you've seen them out.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
they're out and
community.
about. A lot of times you see them like veterans parades or various events, maybe 4th of July or something. They're out there, taking care of work that's needs to be done out there. Youth Challenge has always been part of our community's events and things like that.
Yes, because we do want them to embrace that, and we want them to identify with that, and we do want them to be accountable for their actions, and we do not tolerate any bullying and any of that in the Youth Challenge.
And
as
every
well.
time, and I bet there's not a person out here that can say every time they've seen Youth Challenge out there, it's been nothing but professional, and you're like, oh, they got their act together. They're even when the rest of like the parades and everybody's civilians doing their thing, there's the Youth Challenge. Nope, they're getting formation. They're not taking a day off from what they do. This is what they do.
Yes.
And yeah, you're absolutely right. I love seeing that.
Most definitely, our captains, our sergeants, our mass sergeants, they definitely instill those characters within them. And we definitely try to teach them to identify any anger. We teach them about dealing with anxiety, with stress, with all those coping skills and life skills that they integrate in daily, day to day.
And I would even argue, too, that like your own cadets start to, I mean, obviously they get their own sense of pride, take pride in the uniform and take pride in what they represent. But for some of those folks to be looked at by the public in that way is probably a new experience for them, if that makes sense what I mean. Like, we get kids and they do their thing, all people's society, oh, look at them, and so they're probably a little bit used to someone looking at them and already judging them badly before one word is uttered or one thing is said. Whereas, I'm not going to lie, you see a cadet in their Youth Challenge uniform and they're out there, paying attention to detail, marching, doing things in a very professional way. People don't look at them the same, do they? They start looking like, oh, look at those fine young men and women. They're out there, doing good for our community. And so probably for some cases, for these individuals, for the first time, people look at them in a way that isn't judging them. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's in itself being away from their home can be a scary experience. And I think it's a wonderful experience for them in itself to come to the Youth Challenge. And they should take great pride in themselves that they came from miles and miles
they
away.
Build that back up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And have integrated those skills and build a great person in themselves. And when they go home and go back into their environments, that they've built that great character.
They spread that love.
Yes, most definitely. And one of the things that we do is have case managers that help them have job placement, either have we get mentors. So if anyone's interested in becoming a mentor, please call us because we want them to have that placement and identify a plan. So they identify a goal, long-term, short-term, midterm, but we have that placement. And part of our goal is that when they go back into their home or back into that environment, their community, is that they have already identified, okay, I'm going to college, I'm going into the military.
They got a plan.
Yes, that they're not just going back and being stagnant. We want them to be successful in those environments. So we want to ensure that that is the key, that they plant those seeds and that they flourish.
And I don't know statistics or anything, but I'm willing to bet the percentage of cadets that complete the program that go on to be successful is probably very high.
So far,
I would imagine it's you probably get, because like you said, these are all individuals that probably tried other avenues and did not find success. And for the first time in their lives, they're finding success. They're finding the equation, the formula it takes to be successful in life. And Youth Challenge found that for them. And so once they get it, it's they're their own their best advertiser for the program.
Yes, our peer-to-peer, that's our best advertisement out there right now. Not our recruiters. We want to be a great advertisement, but our cadets are our best advertisement right now. Our
people that
families
chewed the same dirt that you do, that's telling you the story, you're gonna relate to that much better than an authority figure telling you the same thing. It just is,
And we want them to take that ownership. We want them to have that ownership because they are the success.
And I imagine there's probably so many cases where friends of previous cadets came through. Like maybe you had some cadets go through the program and now they're doing well. And then some of their friends like, dude, I remember Bob or Gina, and I saw what she was before Youth Challenge.
Yes.
And now I see them now, and I'm like, I need that in my life. And so I imagine you get a lot of folks that, because their peers decided to make that decision to go to Youth Challenge, and now they see they're in a lot better scenario than I am. Maybe I should go that path too. I imagine you get a lot of those kind of people signing up for Youth Challenge because they see their friends succeed through the
Yes, most definitely. Most of our referrals are family and friends that have graduated, or they said, oh yes, so-and-so graduated, and so then they told me about the program and they've came back. Or we have state police that have referred, or resource officers that have referred. They're our best referrals. I'm
telling you, for folks, if there's youth out there, parents, kids, everybody listening to this, and you're having struggles right now, and you look like, well, man, I want to do right, but every time I take 3 steps forward, it seems like 4 steps back. Something happens, life happens, or you do something dumb, and you're like, I didn't mean to do dumb. It just, there was the lesser, life happens. We all end up where we're at, not by one big decision. It was a series of little things, you know what I mean, that kind of took us down that path. And if you're listening and thinking, man, I think I've gone to a point where can I turn back now? Or no, this is where Youth Challenge is that. Get that, reestablish your own self-worth and value again, because I imagine a lot of the folks, they're probably at a point where they're tired of being beat down by parents, family, community saying, look, get your act together. You're not doing. You're gonna end up in jail. You're gonna end up all the things that people try to, with good intentions, are trying to get someone to see. Maybe it's time to make a decision for you the better here. The greatest success is just seeing others do it. And if you're willing to make that decision to say, I'm going to surrender myself to this, and what I mean by that is giving into the program. I imagine you get quite a few that get sent in because parents encourage them and they come in a little bit more pushed in versus coming in of their own accord. But you will find that once you get over your own hang-ups and just see what they have to offer, you're going to find out, oh my goodness, now it's making sense. It's kind of, I imagine you have breakthrough moments like that all the time, especially certain people that maybe are coming in resistant, and you got to do your magic on them and keep working them, and then they have that light bulb moment, or something happens, whether it's in drill or in a classroom, or maybe it's in the dorms, wherever it is, something clicks, and it happens at that moment. And that's the beauty of it. But that happens every day. It's just some people see it day one, some don't see it till halfway or 3/4 through the program. It's just, the moment happens when it happens. But it's going to happen. And if you take your moment to say, you know what, I'm going to make that conscious decision to do something better with my life, once you make that decision and truly let it go to that, you're going to see how well the program can help you. And that's the beauty of it, because I think for the first time in the lives of some of these folks, they've been told they're not this and that. Now it's going to be, oh my goodness, they're assets to our community. That's a mind booster to someone from being told that you're not wanted to now we can't do it without you. I mean, that's an amazing feeling, and to give that to these people that may not have had that experience, sometimes that in and of itself is the motivation they need to be productive people in society. Once they get a taste of this is what it looks like to be loved and contributed when you're contributing to it, and what the big picture is, and this is how it's supposed to work. Youth Challenge is a way for these young folks to see that, where maybe going to school and going to college and doing the path that they say is the traditional way doesn't work. And that's what Youth Challenge is about at the end of the day. I know I got way soapboxy there, but I really want people to understand that these are the things that make a difference if we give them the tools and give them the opportunity to take advantage of it.
And we definitely have all the tools that you need. We're a 22-week residential program. We're free. You do not have to pay for anything, absolutely nothing.
It's all covered as part of it, as part of the Guard's commitment to Youth Challenge.
Yes, and you do have to come in on a voluntary basis.
Okay.
So you cannot be compelled to attend. 16 to 18, New Mexico resident.
Okay.
No felonies. New Mexico resident, I already covered that. And drug-free. You have to be committed to be willing to be drug-free. So please, do not hesitate to ask any questions. We have Spanish-speaking staff on board. And as, Mike Winter said, there is no such thing as no, try it.
Absolutely.
Do not let anyone speak into your life, try.
This is something that if you reach out a hand for help, there's going to be a bunch of hands pulling you up on the other side.
Exactly.
But you've got to reach out.
Yes.
You've got to make that decision. And once you do, there's a whole army pardon the pun, of people here to help you do that. And that's, but at the end of the day, we can't make you reach out. You've got to do that. You've got to make that conscious effort in your life. And even your parents can't do that. It's got to be you. You're the one that's got to do it. You've got to say, you know what? This is my chance. I've got to do something. I'm giving an opportunity. There's not going to be many more of these left for me. At some point, people are going to stop giving me these opportunities. I better take advantage of it now. And you've got to make that conscious decision to do that. Once you do that and give in, I guarantee you're going to find success and you're going to find your path. Wherever it takes you, you will find your path.
Yeah, you just reach out.
Yeah.
If you don't try, then...
Real quick, like you said, the next class is coming February 22nd, I think you said was the first
February the 20th.
20th,
So we have 13 days. 13 days.
Can they still get into this class,
Yes.
or is it a little
No.
behind the eight ball
You
here?
can still get in. There's such, the next class will start in July.
Okay, so if you don't get in now, you're going to have to wait till the summer. But
Right.
Which is okay if you want to do
Yes.
your homework and research. But if you're thinking, nope, I'm ready to do it today.
Right.
Reach out. Let's get the ball rolling. And here in a week or so, you're in that first class.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. So how do we start the process?
So give us a call at 505-476-2504.
Okay.
My extension is 505-476-2508.
Okay.
Or reach out to us at www.nmyca.net.
Very good.
Or the QR code is out there.
Yeah. And like you said, just
Facebook.
You can get on Facebook and put Roswell Youth Challenge or anything Youth Challenge in, and you'll find links and information and connections through it there. What was I going to ask? There's something I was going to ask, and I just shot out of my head.
How do you reach out to us, you were saying?
Yes, that was one of them. But as far as getting signed up and everything else, basically, you can get that done here for the 22nd.
20th.
20th, I'm sorry. But if you do want to make the July one, if you're thinking that way, it gives you time to do your research, talk with some of the cadets and things, and talk with, reach out to them. If you've got friends that are graduates of the program or have been a part of it, talk to those folks. They're great resources. But if you're kind of on the fence right now and just learning, use this time to seal that deal. Talk out, reach out to them, even if you're not ready to start here on the 20th, but you want to start that July class. We'd love to get the wheels turning. As far as age requirements and things like that, what's the bare minimum on age requirements?
So 16 to 18 before the start date.
Gotcha. So if you're in that window, now obviously if you're running behind the eight ball, I'm turning 18, but July here or whatever, then you need to worry about getting it in on the class.
As long as you're 18 by that start date, let's say you're fixing to turn 19, it's okay. As long as you're 18 by that start date, you're good.
Good deal. And please reach out. And if you're struggling and looking for that path, let Youth Challenge be that path for you. And even, like, say maybe you're pursuing military. Maybe that's it. I want to be in the military after this. Youth Challenge could be that great stepping stone, especially if maybe you tried for the military, but you didn't have your GED or didn't have your diploma, or you're missing some things that get you there. Youth Challenge could be that thing that it proves to them.
Right.
Like maybe they're looking for something and they say, oh, look, they just completed Youth Challenge. They did it with flying colors. Maybe they're ready to serve in our Marine Corps or our Army or Air Force or Navy or wherever.
We always have our outfits come out from the Marines, Navy, Air Force, National Guard. They always come out.
Yeah.
And
Guard, obviously. That'd be a good one. Yeah. You are part of the Guard. The Youth Challenge is part of the Guard here.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, I'm running out of time. Do any of the instructors, are you guys guardsmen on top of that? Or do you have to be guardsmen, or some guardsmen and some aren't? Or I was just curious about that.
Some of our staff have served.
Okay.
And there's staff there, so some of us are civilians and we're working there.
Okay.
But you do not have to be...
Okay, part of the Guard. I didn't just
And
curious.
we are hiring, too, so if you're interested in working for us, go to our...
So if you love social work, things like that, probably if you have military backgrounds, all these could be beneficial as career opportunities.
On your resume, sure.
Yeah. And obviously working with youth is a good one.
And we do have counselors and a nurse on staff, so,
Now, do the cadets all stay at the facility?
Yes.
Okay. Even if they're local, or because
yes.
For you, folks, and she mentioned this earlier, but in case you don't realize, there's kids from all over the state of New Mexico. They're not all just from Roswell.
Right.
There's kids from Farmington to
Las
Aztec
Cruces,
to
Deming.
Cruces. Yeah, they're all over the state. So, but I was just curious, even if the local folks, they all...
Yes.
Which is important as part of that process, because it's team building and much like military, that's part of that, and being able to work giving them tasks that may seem above their knowledge and things, and then they work together as a group, and they can do this. But you got to give them that opportunity and that setting, and sometimes being there 24/7 is the only way you can provide that.
Right. And parents, if you want to see your children mold into a beautiful character, this is a wonderful experience for them, and we do take very good care of your children. We will not expose them to any danger whatsoever. This is a wonderful experience. I'll send my own son there,
Sure. Yeah, if parents, if you have any questions or want to see or want to hear about or any of that stuff, I'm sure any of the staff will be happy to answer those questions, ease whatever issues you may have, and take care of that kind of stuff.
And that's why we have our orientations. If you go to that website, you can join our orientations. Our orientations will explain what the process goes, how, that process is. Join on to our orientation. Those will answer all your questions that you might have about our program. And like, you said, call us, go onto our website. We'll answer any questions you might have.
Call ahead. Maybe you can set up a tour of the campus. I know COVID kind of restricts on some of that, but I'm sure we can find ways to, if you want to see the facility, see where your son or daughter will be spending their time and all that, we can make that happen.
Our orientation will actually have a virtual pictures and things like that.
Okay, good deal. And then your communication, all that kind of stuff too.
Yes, sir.
Because I know it's not quite like basic, but you're like, well, I haven't heard from my cadet yet. It's like, well, they've got a moment to communicate later at this time.
Most definitely.
Again, it's all by design. So,
yes, sir.
Very good. Give out the phone number one more time.
505-476-2504.
Very good. And then, of course, look for Youth Challenge on Facebook or online. And don't forget, this next session will start here February 20th. If you're between the ages of 16 and 18, you still got time to get into this February class. If you do miss this window, you'll have another opportunity here in July.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Is there anything we missed? Did we get it all?
I believe we got it all in our time frame.
And then even a couple soapbox stuff on top of that. So. Well, thank you, ma'am, as always. Appreciate it. We'd love to have you anytime, even if it's maybe a couple months out before this next session, and we just want to put the bee in the bonnet maybe, and I don't know what security and all that, but even if some of the cadets would be willing and wanting to come on and share their stories and talk about Youth Challenge, we'd love to have all that.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime. Well, thank you, ma'am, and stay warm, stay safe.
You too, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Roswell.
It is 9:55. Let's go ahead and take a quick break here before we wrap up today's show. Man, this morning's flying by. All right, quick. Actually, we'll do a town hall business quick break before we go. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Frontier offering to buy Spirit Airlines in a $2.9 billion cash and stock transaction.
The purchase is valued at $6.6 billion when accounting for the assumption of debt and other liabilities. The companies say the transaction will provide more low-cost fares for more travelers to destinations in the U.S., Latin America, and the Caribbean. Frontier Group Holdings and Spirit Airlines also anticipate $1 billion in annual consumer savings and are looking to expand their services with more than 350 aircraft on order.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Modest gains for the benchmarks in today's early going on Wall Street. Traders will have a lot of data to digest this week, with a flurry of earnings reports due out, as well as more inflation data scheduled for release later in the week. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
It's scary how often we hear those police sirens lately.
Oh, this is the new normal under Mayor Dennis Kintai.
I just don't feel safe these days around Roswell, and I'm worried about our kids.
I know. It's very concerning. Murders are up 140%, and robberies are up 142% in the last 4 years under Kintai.
What?
Yeah, and assaults are up 263%.
That's unbelievable. And I heard the other day that Roswell pays their officers a starting salary 10 grand less than Hobbs and Carlsbad. No wonder we're having trouble hiring.
We need to fire Mayor Kintai and elect Tim Jennings as mayor.
Yeah, Jennings has a plan to hire 10 more officers, and he'll make sure Roswell pays competitively to recruit and retain our police force.
I know Jennings is going to build a substation in the high crime area. That'll help.
Tim Jennings, he's got my vote.
Mine too, because I know he'll keep Roswell safe.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for mayor.
This is Noreen Teal with the New Mexico Workforce Connection Centers with a special announcement. On Tuesday, February 8th, from 2 to 6 p.m., the workforce offices across the state will be hosting a rapid hire event. We will be conducting on-site interviews for multiple positions. Do you have a passion for helping others, excellent customer service and communication skills, and are you looking for a career opportunity that offers benefits including paid holidays, insurance, and a retirement plan on day one? If you answered yes, then we want you. Please bring your resume, 3 professional references, and school transcripts to be considered for one of the many positions we have available. For more information, please call 800-303-3599.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. More than 50% of Americans fall asleep on their sides. That's way better than falling asleep on someone else's side. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 10 o'clock. That's about going to do it for us. If you missed any part of the show, KSVPTV.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. You'll find it there. Also, you'll find all of our stuff on our 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM Facebook wall. That's going to do it for us. Have an amazing day. Thanks for allowing us to be a part of it. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Till then, take care.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell, 106.5.